D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick 102.5 The Game. Broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David Janes here with you. We are live at Party Foul, just a stone's throw away from Vanderbilt University, 2031 Broadway. Of course, Vanderbilt hosts Missouri tomorrow, a huge matchup in the SEC. College game day will be here. And if you want to be at the game, you better be sure to stop by today and register for a pair of 50-yard line seats to the sold-out Missouri-Vanderbilt game tomorrow. We will be here till 6 p.m. You do not have to be present to win, but you do have to be present to sign up. So if you want a chance at those tickets, you must be here at Party Foul to sign up. Again, 2031 Broadway. As we get our setup here all shored up.
Hi, everybody.
There's Chase, and Chase is now going to hand it over to Willie Donick because Chase has already been on the air for 3 hours. So go do something else. Go do something else. Don't mess it up. This is your show. Well, it's actually our show.
People.
Hello, there you
What's
go.
going on?
Hello, everybody. Now we're all set up. So we, of course, are going to start on the matchup between Missouri and Vanderbilt coming up tomorrow at First Bank Stadium. And here is something, gentlemen, that I've been thinking about today. And you tell me if you agree. The one word I would use to describe Vanderbilt football to the general population at the moment is curiosity. The Commodores are a curiosity. You may not be a college football fan. You may be a general casual sports fan. So you probably have an idea of what's going on at Vanderbilt. They're 6-1. They're in the top 10 for the first time in nearly 80 years. But I see this as a huge opportunity for the program and the university tomorrow. Big game, of course, but College game day is here for the first time in 17 years. I know that the Commodores were involved in a College game day featured game about a month ago when the Commodores went to Alabama, but this is the first time since 2008 that College game day will be on campus at Vanderbilt University. Nate Bargatze, incredibly popular comedian, will be the guest picker. Kenny Chesney and Dierks Bentley performing live on campus as part of College game day. It reminds me, in a way, of the Predators' playoff run in 2017. When that playoff run started, general sports fans, casual sports fans, they were curious about what was going on. But it wasn't until the Predators swept the Chicago Blackhawks in the first round that I think the general population of Nashville really latched on to what was happening. And we saw the crowd swell. You all remember what it was like on Broadway when the Predators were in the Stanley Cup final. So I see tomorrow, Willie and Derek, as a similar opportunity for Vanderbilt. If Vanderbilt can win tomorrow, a big matchup, and we will get into the nuts and bolts of the matchup against Missouri. But if Vanderbilt can win tomorrow as a top 10 team at home with College game day here, I think the Commodores will graduate from a curiosity into something that this city can really grab onto. Willie, as the Vanderbilt alum, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it's the next step in the process. I think it goes back to, I think, the very beginning of last season when they beat Virginia Tech. That was what just happened there? And then, of course, it took another step when they beat number 1 Alabama. It took a big step there. They got on the radar. And then this year, building up to that matchup at Alabama, which was also on game day. And even though they lost, I think they walked out of there with respect. And people were saying, well, this wasn't a total fluke. Vanderbilt brought something to the table, even though they didn't win the game. And they built back. That win last week was another big, big notch. And so you're right. I think today, I saw the Pat McAfee show, doing the show from the stadium. They've already done some media here. That you can't put a price on that, D-Mace, on what what value and what attention that brings your campus and your program. And so it's a chance to take the next step tomorrow.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for them to be in the big boy chair, at least for tomorrow, because you got to be doing something right when game day comes to your campus. They're not just coming because you won a couple games or, you know, any other thing. They're coming because you are the hottest thing in college football. That's why they're coming. So whether the city of Nashville understands it or not, and I think they do, but the minute they said we're bringing game day, they understood it. They realized how big this was. And it wasn't, it's not about Missouri. It's about Vandy. This is about Vandy. You're talking about a team that beat the number one team in the country last year. That, you know, you take away two crucial plays in the game this year, you're talking about a game that, hey, they possibly could have won, or it could have been different that last drive. So you're talking about a team that no longer it's they hung on. No, it's a team that you look at and say, man, they should have won that game. They went toe to toe. And then when you watch them every week, you come to find out that this is what SEC football looks like. Physical football, you know, physical players, being multiple, you know, never quitting. It means more. So now Vandy can take that. It just means more, and they can apply it to what they're doing because that's how they play. It just means more to us, you know. And it hadn't been that way for a very long time. So game day it symbolizes that. Listen, they recognize where you are as a team, and you just need to do your job and go out there and continue winning football games. Because the more games you win, the more respect you're going to gain outside of the state of Tennessee.
I'm thinking about the characters, so to speak, at Vanderbilt on the football team. You have Clark Lee, Vanderbilt alum, blood, sweat, and tears into that program. Saw it through the lean years. Has this team playing the best it's been in a long, long time. Incredibly likable. We talk to him every week. Incredibly likable guy. Diego Pavia has grapefruits, and I don't mean literal grapefruits. I have to watch my mouth because my wife is right here.
I'm actually surprised you said that.
but he has grapefruits. You could argue that Diego Pavia is the biggest sports star in Nashville right now. And he's a great story as well. And he's likable to me. If you're an SEC opponent, I'm not sure you find him very likable, but he's a compelling figure. He's got moxie, swag, riz, whatever word you want to use. By the way, any better suggestions?
I still don't know if we've topped it. We might have to get a few more today. I know Jake and his crew was doing that. I'm sure Chase did some, but I'm always open to suggestion.
Okay,
we'll be there tomorrow morning, no question.
We will work on Willie's college game day sign, and if you have suggestions, 615-737-1025. My larger point though is there's a lot to grab onto with this Vanderbilt football team. There's compelling characters on the field, and that's what makes this game tomorrow so exciting. I'm curious to see how College Game Day covers it. I'm sure Diego Pavia will be heavily featured. I'm sure Clark Lee will stop by the College Game Day desk because usually the coach of the home team comes by. Nate Bargatze, Dirks Bentley, Kenny Chesney. I want to know if Nick Saban, who is a major league Vanderbilt skeptic, has seen the light, because he was the only one who picked against Vanderbilt last week. And remember what he said right before Vanderbilt played Alabama last year. The only easy place to play in the SEC is Vanderbilt. So I'm wondering if Nick Saban has come to his senses about Vanderbilt. There's a lot of really, really captivating storylines for this game tomorrow.
I think from an attention standpoint, D-Mace, that this is going to hit a home run. Last week, I wasn't in Nashville for that game, but I think from the football team's perspective, they're looking at this as an equally tough. They've already played some really, really tough teams. So this is just the next step. But it's just the added excitement of when you actually have game day here. But I think Missouri arguably is a better team than LSU. So this is just as big, if not a bigger challenge to try to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the focus for Vanderbilt. All the stories that you said, Adam, are true, and more people are going, just like you mentioned the 2017 run. There were just layers and layers of people that discovered the Predators during that run that had never paid attention before. And I think you've got that dynamic here if you can keep taking advantage of opportunities where you get a chance to play in the spotlight.
Well, this is the biggest opportunity outside of, say at the end of the season, depending on where Tennessee and Vandy will be at that time. You're talking about another big marquee game that could decide on who makes it to the SEC championship game and who makes it to the college football playoff. So
Coach Willie's,
there are things, but Willie,
yeah.
there are things down the line possibly that can be even bigger than this. Saban asked Diego when he had him on. He asked him about the rat poison, and Diego gave a great answer. That's what I'm not worried about it, but it's still it's back there because there's droppings of rat poison with every big game, and it wants to entice you to take it. Come on, but take it. Game days here. Dirk Bentley, everybody's coming. So it's there for you to take. It looks good. It's there for you to take. Will Vandy bypass all that and concentrate on the task at hand? Because knowing that it's big now, you beat Missouri, it gets even bigger. They handled it a few weeks ago. Came out of it, even though they lost, they handled it all, came back, had a big victory right after that. Can they now come off and have another big victory?
I hear what you're saying, Derek, and I'm reminded of what happened last season after Vanderbilt upset then number 1 Alabama. Mm-hmm. Diego Pavia was on every sports show known to man. And I was genuinely curious on how the Commodores would respond the following week on the road at Kentucky. Because if they had lost that game, I would have just chalked it up to, they had their moment. Yeah, it was great. Back to reality for Vanderbilt. The fact that the Commodores went on the road the following week after being the talk of the college football world, went on the road. Kentucky's a tough opponent. They're no pushover, right? Went on the road, beat Kentucky. That said to me, this team can handle the spotlight. Now it's different.
The spotlight ain't nothing like it is.
I hear what you're saying.
Nothing like
I hear what you're saying, but we have proof in the recent past that they can handle all of the publicity and still perform on Saturday.
Yes, but this is a different animal. You're still not prepared for. No one can prepare you for, continued consistent winning, especially when you haven't done it ever really. So every step is a different step. Every task. That's why coach says stay in the moment right now, because every situation is different. Situation last year with Alabama, that was a different situation than it is this year with Alabama. And this Missouri game is a different situation from the Kentucky game. Missouri is a much better foe than Kentucky was. Vanderbilt's much better as well. You're talking about two teams, I believe they're both ranked in the top 12, going against one another. And this win for Vandy can propel them, like seriously propel them to places that they have not been. They haven't been to the places they're at now. That can propel them even more.
And don't you think from Missouri's perspective, which we are rarely going to talk about here in the city, they're saying to themselves,
exactly,
the pressure's on Vanderbilt.
Absolutely.
They're supposed to beat us. We're going to sneak into town. Nobody's talking about us. Everybody's talking about Diego. Everybody's talking about Nate Bargatze. That's
they're dealing with
the road team here.
New quarterback too, aren't they? Missouri. Do they have a quarter? Well, he's not playing well. Let's put it that way.
Well, they had the guy get hurt at the beginning of the season.
Exactly.
And then
the other guy, and they're not doing as well.
Well,
he's not playing as well.
Well, he's a talent, though.
Yes, but he can run the football. But throwing the football,
that's the
he
question.
has his troubles.
I think that is a big matchup issue that they have to see. Now, he came through at the key times last week. They got a big road win in double OT in a wild game at Auburn. And let's not forget that a couple weeks ago, Missouri played Alabama. That was over in Columbia, Missouri. They were right there with Alabama. So they are a very, very good team. But Missouri doesn't quite have especially traditionally, they don't have the same ring to their name as LSU. So that's part of the rat poison, I think.
I agree with Derek that this is a spotlight brighter than Vanderbilt has ever had in college football. Hence why I said this is a huge moment for them.
Speaking of spotlights, we're not in the witness protection program. If you're watching on our restream, we have a huge glare straight behind us. So we are silhouettes and silhouettes only if you're watching on our YouTube channel.
Hey, listen, I am a true silhouette.
D-Mays, I can't even see your features at all.
It's the melanin, man. You can't see it. The melanin is dark, so you can't see it.
I can't see mine either.
I barely see yours. You really
like
can't
Raiders
see
of the
mine.
Lost Ark when Indiana Jones is trying to find the map room and get the sun going through the stats.
I'm stuck on yours. I'm stuck on yours, though. I'm stuck. I'm not moving.
You are. You're totally stuck. What's going on?
Derek looks like one of those people interviewed for like 60 minutes when their voice is altered.
Right.
Oh, man.
Doesn't want to give away his identity. But
well, on mine, I see mine better. Will it be yours?
People are pushing back on my Kentucky reference from last season. But my point was, I would not have been shocked had Vanderbilt gone to Kentucky last season after being the kings of college football for a week.
Yes.
And wet the bed, for lack of a better term. But they didn't, and that proved a lot to me. This is a much different, much brighter spotlight. We laid it all out. My point was that I am confident in Clark Lee's program that they won't let all of this spotlight get to them. That is my larger point, because this is the biggest spotlight that Vanderbilt football has ever had.
And I think if they continue to have success, every game they play is going to have the same kind of spotlight and stakes, which is new territory, as you pointed out, Derek. They've never been into this spot where you're actually talking about. Like, I don't think you can talk about it yet unless they win this game. If they win this game, then I think you can legitimately start talking about
college football.
What needs to happen for them to make it to the playoffs.
And what's nice about this compared to the other football team in town down the road is it's nice to talk about a big game, a meaningful game. The game against Alabama a few weeks ago, that was the biggest game of the season. Then last week against LSU, that was the biggest game of the season. This game against Missouri tomorrow, this is the biggest game of the season. It's nice to talk about a football team in Nashville, that a game that actually has stakes. We will talk about the Titans and the Colts. There are zero stakes in that game. The Titans are going to get creamed in that game.
Man, you show little faith.
Do you disagree with me, Derek?
It's not about me disagreeing with you.
It's
about you having little faith.
He didn't say no, people out there. He didn't say no. But it's nice to talk about a football game in Nashville with actual stakes. I miss that. We haven't been able to do that in recent years with the Titans, which is why I'm so much looking forward to the game tomorrow. 615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on the matchup between Missouri and Vanderbilt. I say this is a huge game for the Commodores because they can graduate from curiosity to something that this city can really latch onto. 615-737-1025. We are live at Party Foul, 2031 Broadway, just down the road from campus. Stop by and register for a pair of 50-yard line seats to the sold-out game tomorrow. We are here until 6. The drawing is around 5:45. You have to be present to enter. You do not have to be present to win. So if you want a chance to sit at the 50-yard line tomorrow for this big game, come down to Party Foul, 2031 Broadway, and sign up now. If you're looking for a good spot to watch the NFL games on Sunday, then you should come by Twin Peaks in Madison, home of the 29-degree beer, and join 1025 The Game for the pregame show before the Titans take on the Colts. The pregame show is brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment and Old National Bank. D. Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025. The game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you live at Party Foul, 2031 Broadway, just down the street from Vanderbilt's campus. Derek's jamming out to the Monster Mash over
on,
there.
man. Y'all gonna like.
We are
Y'all
getting
will
close
like
to Halloween.
Yes, y'all will like my choice of songs today. It's got
That's
a
right.
theme
Derek
here.
is
We
the
got a theme.
DJ today.
got a
Again,
theme.
the address is
Can I
2031
guess
Broadway.
the theme? Is it Halloween music?
Close to it. Yes, it is. But it's
I'm a
because,
genius
hey,
for figuring
listen,
that out.
we're bringing the Monster Mash to Missouri. It's just gonna smash us.
That could be a sign for
There we
College
go.
Game Day.
Yes.
We're at 2031 Broadway, just down the road from Vanderbilt University. We have a pair of tickets to give away to the game tomorrow. You have to be here to register. You do not have to be here for the drawing to win, which will happen at roughly 5:45.
You have absolutely nothing to lose. Dropping by, putting your name in the hat, put your phone number,
Saying hello.
saying hello, grab something to eat, grab a beer, whatever you want, and then you can take off, do your thing, and you might win.
Yeah. You never
Right
know.
now, your odds are really good. I don't know how many people came during Chase's show. Was it flooded during like the lunch hour?
I'm sure it was.
I feel like your probability, Adam, you're an analytics guy.
Yes.
Right now, your probability of winning these tickets is good.
Well, let me ask this question. Can I win the tickets if my
No,
wife signs up?
You can't. She can.
Yeah.
Bridget can win. You can't win.
She can win and
She
take
can't
me
you.
to
No,
the
she
game.
No, she can't take you
No,
How would you know? You wouldn't know.
there's cameras everywhere.
because you would need to have a very good disguise.
Yes. What
Because
disguise?
I think
would,
you're well
what
known
disguise
around.
would you go with?
I think there's got to be I
A
don't know.
wig because I have no hair.
What disguise would you go? What color would be the wig?
I would have to be
Maybe a
discreet
Halloween
about
costume.
Yeah, but how?
it. Well, that would
Pink
stick
for
out.
sure.
But what would your hair color be? Dark, brunette, blonde? Which you want?
Blondes do have more fun, I hear. I've never experienced that.
Hey, we need to stop.
We're gonna get him in trouble.
Yes, we're gonna get him in trouble, big trouble.
Mustache.
He does it himself. He does it himself.
I
That's
do it
all.
myself.
Yes.
Here's Adam needs to sit with the Pavia family. You know,
Yes.
they like to have fun.
Yes.
They get out there, they go crazy. Adam could be right in the middle of the pack there. I would love to see that.
Okay.
So curly mustache.
You got to wear the overalls, the black and gold overalls with no
exactly.
shirt underneath. That's
There we
the
go.
Pavia guys rock that.
Absolutely. And then I don't know, should he wear a hairpiece or not?
Could I get a Bob Ross style afro? Could I do that?
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
you can.
Could I do that?
It's Halloween season. There's plenty of
Exactly.
stores that have all the hair looks you're looking for.
Exactly.
You could
So
get
one
like
thing we
a
are doing
visor
throughout
and
the show-
have the hat on there. The visors that have like the
There
hair
you
in
go.
there.
Could do that.
Hide your face.
The visor with the fake hair. I've never understood what's going on with that. That is not. I don't recommend that.
Okay.
I think
Well,
It's horrible.
it is a suggestion.
Oh
I've seen
man.
people do that. Like what? Why?
One thing we are doing throughout the show, 615-737-1025. Willie will be at College Game Day tomorrow. Not only will Willie be at College Game Day tomorrow, but Willie has VIP access to College Game Day tomorrow, courtesy of Max Hers. So we are taking suggestions for the sign that he should bring to College Game Day. Nate in Columbia on our phone line has a suggestion for Willie. Nate, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
I actually have a couple of suggestions.
All right, go ahead.
One is we not ask.
Okay, we not
One
ask.
is-
Play on Cam Ward.
Bingen loves hot moms.
That is true.
Or
My wife. You should see
Bingen-
my wife's face right now.
Well, she's not gonna like this one.
Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, say it.
Bing- I don't know if I can say it on the air, but Bingen loves milk.
Did
Oh my goodness, Nate! Thank you for the call. I have a lot of explaining to
Teammates,
do
it's
to my
only-
wife.
It's not even 3:30.
we aren't even not. What time is it, Willie?
It's
I don't have my
3:28.
glasses.
It's 3:28.
It's 3:28.
Adam is already digging a big hole.
Exactly.
Yes.
We're digging a big hole.
This kid may not get out of this hole for the next 2 months, man. The hole he's digging.
Hopefully the locks won't be changed when I get home.
Keep pouring it in, people. Keep pouring it in.
Well, one of the signs Willie has brought up one of the famous signs from the last time College Game Day was here. Hey, you're blocking the library.
Right. I'm sure a version or two will be on display tomorrow.
The Vanderbilt Hustler, the student newspaper, dug up this one from 2008. The nerds shall inherit the turf.
Yes.
I like that one.
Okay.
That is a good one. That is a good one. So we will take your suggestions on Willie's sign, 615-737-1025. Another great story leading into Vanderbilt and Missouri. The Vanderbilt special teamers held a clinic for Pat McAfee's kicking competition on campus on Wednesday. That was a great story. So someone in the pit is what it's called.
Mhm.
Someone in the pit is going to have an opportunity to kick a 33-yard field goal for a chance to win hundreds of thousands of dollars. Last week at Georgia, a student missed wide left for $400,000. But after the cameras went off, he got a second chance, nailed it, won $100,000.
I have a problem with the second chance.
Okay.
Isn't that a little bit of everybody gets a trophy?
Yeah, that's what it
you
is.
get one kick, you got to make the kick.
Hey, pressure situation.
Yeah, when the Titans lined up for a game-winning kick at the end of the game, you don't say, hey, let's give him a second chance.
Hey, stop.
Let's give him a
you want
second
another
chance.
Want another chance?
That's not how it works. That's not how
No.
life works. You don't get
Like,
$400,000. You don't get two.
Just steady feeding into the, hey, everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah, come on.
Society.
pressure
Nobody. No, if
That's
you don't
why-
win on the first kick, you ain't getting no second kick.
I-
Damn that.
Well, it's not
how I
up to
think it
you.
should
It's
be.
up to Pat McAfee.
That's
no,
how I think
if
it
it
should
was
be.
up to me.
That's why Vanderbilt ran this clinic. They want the right person out there to kick this field goal
There you
and
go.
nail it on the first try.
So Brock Taylor was out there. Nick Haberer was out there. Other members of Vanderbilt special teams were out there on alumni lawn helping students learn how to prepare for Pat McAfee's kicking competition.
And that's why you shouldn't get a second chance. They're out there preparing. They're ready. They're not like these other universities show up and then try to kick it. It's about being ready. Don't get ready. Vandy will be ready tomorrow. The other people, they wasn't ready. That's why Vandy don't need a second chance. They're going to kick it right through the upright.
What did they say? What the percentage is of the people that have kicked this year? How many have made? How many missed?
I attempted to look this up this morning. I think there have been three winners this year. I think that's right. I know last week, as I said, on College Game Day, as broadcast on College Game Day, the Georgia student missed the kick, but was given the second chance after the cameras were off.
So does that
And nailed
count?
it.
Did somebody get in his way or something? Like, there's only one way you should
Exactly.
get. Like, wasn't there one time where the dog, was it Herb Street's dog that distracted or had inhibited the guy to make the kick?
Wow.
That'd be one thing, but
Yeah.
you don't just get a second chance.
Exactly.
I saw some talent. There were some clips that they put out on the social media of some of the guys kicking.
Do they
They
randomly
look like
pick
they
the
got a
names?
shot.
They just randomly pick the name?
Yeah,
I think
how do you qualify?
I think
put your name in the
I
hat?
think you sign up. I think
Uh-huh.
there's a sign up, and I assume it's a random drawing.
Yeah, it has to be. But do you have to be a student?
I think they.
Student.
I
excuse
don't
me.
know. I don't know if you are required to be a student
Okay.
in order to participate.
Okay.
Well, that's another problem I have. I think it should
Yeah,
be for
it should be
students.
for students. Yeah.
I will confirm that over the course of the show.
If
What
not,
I
need
did
to put my name in there.
what I did like about what I did like about this, and if you don't get me wrong, Derek,
Uh-huh.
if you had a chance for $400,000 and you missed it, you would want a second chance.
No, I wouldn't.
Yes, you
No.
would.
I wouldn't take the second.
Wouldn't take it. Nope.
I would gladly take the second
Wouldn't
chance,
take the chance. Nope.
and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth, because
Sun setting.
I would need it. Yes,
Kick number 73.
for $5.
Try it one more time. One more.
Nobody else is out there but me.
Oh, man.
Why have a contest? You got to put the pressure on the person. Let's go.
Hey, that's
Here's
I'm saying,
what I
Willie.
enjoyed about this kicking tryout, this
Mhm.
kicking clinic. Dylan Tovitz, who is the deputy sports editor of the Vanderbilt Hustler, he was quoted in this article on The Athletic. So Nick Haberer is the holder for Brock Taylor, and he was actually holding the ball for students during this kicking clinic. And Tovitz said, quote, "Someone must have told him you do not want to be holding this ball. We need you to not break a finger when someone who doesn't know how to kick tries to kick. He stopped holding it, and they put up a tee.
I think that was a smart move.
Yes.
So I'll look up the rules. It's usually students. I
Yeah.
don't know if they can confirm that, if you have to show a student ID or something like that. But Vanderbilt students are ready. They are ready for Pat McAfee's kicking competition. So we'll see how much they can win. And I believe it's Pat McAfee's money. It's not ESPN's money. I believe it is his own money. And he's got lots of money. He does lots of things.
Yeah, I think he is donating a portion of it, which is good because any money added is good if you win. So, but listen, get up there, kick the field goal, make it. You miss it, too bad. Move on. Let's go.
One texter, earlier I said that Diego Pavia could be the biggest sports star in Nashville right now. One texter says, not really the biggest. He's only 5'9".
Well, we talked about this. What was it? A couple of weeks
in
ago?
the summer. We talked about it in the summer.
I think it was a little. Yeah.
We ranked the biggest sports stars in Nashville right now.
Yes, and I thought Diego was that guy, but obviously, at the time there were other guys in front of him. But he has become the most talked about, I think, outside of Cam Ward. In a good way, talked about in a good way, or polarizing in a good way. Athlete within the last 2 or 3 years in the state, in the city of Nashville.
What did we conclude when we did that? Pavia was certainly nominated. Did we list 10?
I think we didn't list. I think we list Cam Ward, Jeffrey Simmons.
Did we exclude Cam Ward from that conversation because of the newness of it?
I think
what I would say is
I think we included Cam Ward with the caveat that we hope that Cam Ward becomes the biggest sports star in Nashville as the number 1 overall pick starting quarterback of the NFL team. But because he hadn't done anything at that point, we opened it up to others.
Right. And so we had, we argued whether a guy like Joseph Newgarden should be in there, people that like Mookie Betts who do a lot of their work outside of Nashville. They're not here every day.
We try to limit it to athletes who play in Nashville versus athletes with Nashville ties playing other places. So off the top of my head, it was Pavia. Not in this order. These were the candidates.
John
Pavia. We put Cam Ward on the list. Jeffrey Simmons, Roman Yossi, Philip Forsberg, Michaela Blakes, Hani Mukhtar. We had a lot of different choices.
Was in there. We had some good debates, but Pavia's profile has gone up since then.
He is the most popular player. I would say he has topped Jeffrey Simmons, I think. And Jeffrey Simmons has been really popular, especially this season. But I think with what he's been doing, he's the most popular. I think it's not even close. He's the most popular athlete in the city of Nashville. And I would dare to say possibly in the state of Tennessee. But I know there are a lot of Tennessee fans, and I get that. But if you're just talking about name recognition, name me a guy with more name recognition on UT's roster right now than Pavia. I don't think there's anybody. Name a guy on the Titans roster. I don't think there's anybody.
Well,
if you want to go to Memphis, Ja Morant, yes, but outside of that, no.
The issue is at the moment, Vanderbilt football is the best team. Well, I would make this argument. I know Nashville SC fans are going to come out of the woodwork when I say this. That Vanderbilt football is the best team, college or professional, in the state of Tennessee right now. Sorry, Nashville SC fans. I don't want to pick at that scab again. But that's why Diego Pavia is, at the moment, in my opinion, the biggest sports star in Nashville. 615-737-1025. We will continue the conversation coming up next on Vanderbilt's matchup against Missouri tomorrow. A reminder, if you want to go to the game, tickets are sold out. If you want an opportunity for a pair of tickets, you need to come to Party Foul, 2031 Broadway. Register to win a pair of tickets to the sold-out game. You have to be present to sign up, but you do not have to be present to win. So if if you want a pair of tickets, this is a great opportunity. 615-737-1025. D-Mays, Fingen, and Donick is presented by Bax Homeworks, which transforms kitchens, bathrooms, and living spaces into places you can't wait to come home to. Get a free estimate at baxhomeworks.com. D. Mace, Vingan, and Donick, 102.5. The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. D. Mace, this is a classic.
This is a classic. Now,
Rockwell.
let's see. Yes.
Featuring,
Good call, Adam.
featuring Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Although I'm not sure Michael Jackson was actually named on the track, but it's
No.
clearly Michael Jackson.
Yes.
It is. And you know what? I heard a story about how that went down, that they released it like it was a Motown track with Rockwell, and they had it out, and Michael Jackson wasn't on there. It was just some random person singing the chorus. And they were like, you know what? We need to soup this up a little bit. And like they went to the Jackson family and they're like, can we get Michael to do this? Like they pulled some strings, and then Michael on the chorus
became a hit.
Next thing you know, it's like number one in the country.
Exactly.
It was the ultimate sign of nepotism because Rockwell was it Barry Gordy? Is it Barry Gordy?
That's what it was.
Yes.
It's the Motown connection, the Barry Gordy.
He's Barry Gordy's son.
Was it?
That's
Yeah.
his. Oh, it's his son.
I believe that. I believe
never all
that's
the
right.
details. Yeah.
So the ultimate sign of nepotism, he gets Michael Jackson to be the featured artist on his track.
It always feels like somebody's watching me.
Once it gets in your head, it never
Exactly.
leaves.
Yeah, so there you go.
So that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, the Vanderbilt Commodores will take on Missouri tomorrow at First Bank Stadium. Pregame begins at 1 p.m. on 102.5 The Game with the kickoff at 2:30. Vanderbilt football is brought to you by Gary Force Acura, Jimmy Kelly Steakhouse, and Smoky Mountain Tops. A great article on The Athletic today talking about how the Commodores got to where they are. And it features someone that Willie Donick knows quite well, Barton Simmons, Vanderbilt football general manager. The author of the article, Bruce Feldman. The headline, how a former Rivals recruiting analyst maximized his hit rate and built a top 10 team. A fascinating look at how Barton Simmons helped Clark Lee build this Vanderbilt team. And there was a great quote from Barton Simmons, who we've had on the program before. A great quote from Barton Simmons on Diego Pavia. Because when you look at Diego Pavia, you don't see a Heisman hopeful. You see an undersized quarterback with a solid arm, nothing to write home about. If you just passed Diego Pavia on the street, you're not a college football fan, you bump into him on the sidewalk, you're not thinking to yourself, that's probably a guy who's quarterbacking a top 10 team in college football right now. Here was the quote from Barton Simmons. The path has been what it needed to be for him. If you're taking a quarterback, it's hard to take one that is 5'10", with an unorthodox throwing motion that is playing in New Mexico. That's a hard profile to have confidence in. But then again, the more you know him, the more conviction he brings. And here's the great part. One of the great things about Diego is his delusion of how great he is and how great he can be. And yet, at what point does it stop being delusional?
We have all been around people, or at times we've been that person that no matter what anybody says, you believe you can do that or you can accomplish that. No matter what people are telling you, no matter what obstacles are in front of you, you still believe in your mind, I can do it. I'm training, I'm doing this, I'm doing it, I can do it. Diego is one of those guys that no matter how many times you tell him he can't do it, he's going to prove a way, and it's going to be a way, he's going to prove it in a way that you didn't think he could prove it. You didn't think that at 5'10", not a good arm, great arm, that he can go out and do the things that he's doing. But that's been his whole thing, being the underdog, doing things that people said on the football field that I couldn't do. Having to start at New Mexico State and then transferring here to Vanderbilt. But before that, going to other schools. So this is a guy that he understands what working hard and fighting for something looks like. He understands, when people say, well, you can't do this, or when people laughed at him when he said national championship. He understands what it takes to change people's minds or change people's perspectives, because he's been through it all his life. It's sports life, let's put it that way. So this is just another opportunity for Diego to prove and he says it, and Barton is right. He says it and doesn't flinch. Like, when he said national championship and Feinbaum sort of laughed and asked, he didn't flinch. He said it
No.
again without even national championship. Like, why not?
And I think Feinbaum was laughing because he was kind of looking to see, he really doesn't
Exactly.
believe that, right? I'm not sure that he believed that, but the more you listen to Pavia talk about this, you realize he does believe
he believes what he's saying. Yes.
And I think it's a fascinating article with Barton because Barton Simmons, for people that don't know, he went to Montgomery Bell Academy with Clark Lee way back, high school buddies. Clark Lee went off and went on his path as a coach. Barton Simmons for a while was running a website, one of those paid sites where he was evaluating talent. So he was deep in the recruiting field, but it wasn't working for a team. He was putting out information and following the recruiting system. And so I think what is fascinating about that is how much it has changed since those days, right? He got to Vanderbilt, and it was still the old model of, well, is it a 3-star? Is it a 4-star? Is it a 5-star? Hey, let's see you can get. Now it's such a diverse way that you can build a roster. And I think Vanderbilt with Clark Lee and Barton Simmons reinvented themselves even a year or two after they got there. Because at first, I think they wanted to develop freshman, sophomore, junior, more of the traditional model. Then they figured out they have to go into the NIL. But discovering guys like Pavia and Ahmad Hardy for Missouri, guys that were off the radar. Cam Ward is an example. It's a whole new field of building a roster. The general manager, which is what Barton Simmons is, you have to know not only who are the high school guys coming up, who are your targets that you're trying to get traditionally, but evaluating who in the portal was misevaluated early and is a late bloomer and suddenly now is a guy that can help your team and upgrade you at those positions. There are so many more levels to it now.
It's not about stars anymore. Outside of high school, it's not about stars. So when these guys are transferring or they're looking to go into a portal, they're not looking at stars. They're looking at tape. What is it that this guy does well at that level, whatever school level he's playing at or whatever school? They're evaluating him now like they're evaluating NFL prospects now. They're not that star stuff. I think once you get on campus, that means nothing anymore. Now, GMs like Barton, they're evaluating guys that are not on their team like they're NFL prospects, because that's almost what and then you got to identify, do they fit with the culture that we are building right now? So it's not, can this guy just play, but can he also be a part of building this culture? You're asking that of a freshman, but there's going to be some growing pains with a freshman. He comes in, he's still learning. But when you go get a guy from another program that has been there 2 years, 3 years, does he should know all the things. So does he fit what we're trying to build here?
And even Barton in the article admits that he wasn't, even though he won the job as the late arrival in the fall practice, he wasn't sure what they were going to see when he went out there against Virginia Tech. And then all of a sudden, in that game, you knew, if you watch that game, you're like, wow, who is this guy? This guy has got that element. So it is such an inexact science. And on another, here is to me a great way to describe how recruiting has changed. There's a great clip that makes the rounds on social media. The 2 Cy Young Award winners, they're going to be the Cy Young Award winners. It's not official yet. Tarek Skubal of the Tigers and Paul Skeens of the Pirates. They have a little conversation with one another. When they were coming out of high school, Skubal asked Skeens, hey, how many offers did you have out of high school? He said, I had 2. I could have gone to Navy or Air Force. Mm-hmm. This is the best pitcher in the world right now. At a high school, he was being recruited by Air Force and Navy. Not exactly baseball. Have you seen those teams in the College World Series?
No.
Tarek Skubal says, oh, that's interesting. I had 1 offer, University of Seattle.
Wow.
That's where those guys were at high school. These are the 2 best pitchers on the planet right now. All sports are like that. Mm-hmm. Football, no exception. So Barton Simmons and all of the GMs across the country are looking around going, who are the Scoobles, who are the Skeens who are growing at a different rate? They weren't 5 stars out of high school, but they're now at a point where they can help their
program.
team.
Yes.
And so Vanderbilt has done it with numbers, with older guys who maybe started somewhere and have built and gone to the next level at Vanderbilt. It's a fascinating process.
615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We will continue the conversation about Vanderbilt's matchup with Missouri tomorrow, but we will also turn our attention to the Tennessee Titans, who are at Indianapolis on Sunday. How ugly could this game get for the Titans? I'm a little worried about that. We will discuss that next. 615-737-1025. A reminder, we are live at Party Foul, 2031 Broadway, just down the road from Vanderbilt's campus. We have a pair of tickets, 50-yard line seats, to give away to tomorrow's game. You have to be here to enter. You don't have to be here to win when we draw at the end of the show. But if you want a pair of tickets, you have to show up to 2031 Broadway and sign up now. Do it. You don't want to miss this game tomorrow. 615-737-1025. The NFL game of the week on Sunday is the Giants versus the Eagles at noon on Sports Talk 830. The NFL game of the week is presented by Sarka Sportsbook Kentucky and Macero in 12 South. D-Mace, Fingan, and Donick 102.5 The Game, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David Janes here with you. We are live at Party Foul, just down the street from Vanderbilt, 2031 Broadway. Come on out, register to win a pair of 50-yard line seats to the sold-out game tomorrow at First Bank Stadium. We will unveil the winner at 5:45. You must be present to register. You don't have to be present to win. So at the very least, come on by, sign up for the tickets, and sign up for a chance to win an opportunity to go to the game tomorrow. Of course, College Game Day will be there from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Nate Bargatze, guest picker. Kenny Chesney and Dirks Bentley will perform. It'll be a great time. We will get back into the Vanderbilt conversation more in depth in a little bit. Although one texter, Eli from Smyrna, on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com said, here's how good the new Vanderbilt is. They are starting to flip Georgia quarterback commits that are 5 stars. He's referring to Jared Curtis from Nashville Christian, who is committed to Georgia, but is going to attend the game tomorrow. Willie, you tell me Diego Pavia attended his game recently.
Yeah, that was in the in a recent report. Who put that out there? There was an article I read that had that in there.
I don't recall.
Yeah,
But there's a
text
photo
was
of him when
referring
he
to
was
an
at that
article.
last game.
He was at their last game.
Yeah.
Yes.
I read I want to give the person credit who wrote the article and reported that, but they're a long way from actually getting him to flip. But you know how it is these days, D-Mace. You're committed, and until you decide,
Until
you can change your mind.
Decide you want to leave.
Supposedly, this kid is good enough. He can go pretty much anywhere he wants. He committed, I think, last spring to Georgia. Nashville Christian, which is coached by a former classmate of mine, Jeff Brothers, who was a football player. He was a quarterback and safety at Vanderbilt. They won the state championship last year at Nashville Christian. And so this kid has a lot of tools. He's very sought after.
A couple of texters. The way Diego Pavia answered Paul Feinbaum's question about winning the national championship is how Big Joe Dubin wanted Mike Borgonzi to answer his questions about the Titans winning the Super Bowl.
He wanted to give a definitive answer.
Yes.
Can they win the Super Bowl? And Diego told you, yeah, we can win the national championship. That's what we are aiming toward.
Larry from Columbia says, don't you think Cam Ward has the same attitude as Diego Pavia? I guess I could see some similarities. The problem is that at least at the NFL level, there is no proof of concept for Cam Ward. And let's use that as a segue to discuss the Titans' upcoming matchup this Sunday at Indianapolis. The Colts are favored by 14.5, and I think that's being generous. I am preparing for a Colts beatdown.
So last week it was a curb stomp.
It was a curb stomp last
This week it's just a flat-out beatdown.
I don't know which one is worse, a beatdown or a curb stomp, but either way, I anticipate the Colts are just going to run through the Titans like a hot knife through butter. Jonathan Taylor, 3 games this season with 3 touchdowns. The Titans have 6 touchdowns as a team all season. No Jeffrey Simmons, no Calvin Ridley. Sorry, Restrepo fans, Mason Kinsey received the call-up from the practice squad, although Paul Kaharski did note that he doesn't expect the Titans to go into the Colts game with only 4 wide receivers, and he expects an elevation on Saturday. So keep hope alive, strep throaters. But Mason Kinsey got the call from the practice
What
squad.
would happen if he catches the pass?
Restrepo or
yes.
Kinsey?
No, Restrepo. Kinsey has caught some passes.
Yes.
Passes.
But, like, if Restrepo catches a pass,
The tuba blow up, man.
I feel
the
like
television will blow up. Yes.
something cosmic is going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
People are going to lose their minds.
Exactly.
Keep hope alive, Restrepo fans. But Mason Kinsey gets the call from the practice squad. But you look at the way the Colts are playing right now. The Colts have scored 232 points. They've punted 12 times in 7 games. 12 punts in 7 games. Those 232 points, the most scored through 7 games by the Colts in the Super Bowl era. And there have been some damn good Colts teams over the years. So my suggestion to Titans fans watching the game on Sunday, avert your gaze.
Well, you have to hope that the Colts
Yeah.
are not on their A game. They've probably gotten to a level where they know how big of a favorite they are. This does happen sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You coast and you allow a team to hang around that shouldn't. But the Colts have played beyond my wildest dreams. How could they? I never saw this coming. How well they are playing.
Well, I can say
Nobody saw it coming, did they?
well, I picked the Indianapolis
Yes, you
Colts.
did.
Derek
I-
did pick the
yeah,
Colts
so
to win the South.
there you go.
I teed it up for you.
Yeah, there you go. So I saw something. I ain't gonna lie and tell you what I saw.
But you did
But I
not think
saw-
he was going to play this well.
No, I didn't think Daniel Jones would play this well. But I did look at that team from last year. And that's a good – the Colts here's the deal with the Colts. The Colts are always going to stay – since Peyton Manning, they've always pretty much outside the one season they were making a transition, they found a way to stay relevant. They found a way to stay in the mix, maybe because the AFC South hasn't been as strong throughout the years. It hadn't been, let's say, competitive division in a long time where you got everybody in the division competing for that number one spot. It hadn't been that way in a long time. But what has been is this: Indianapolis has always been that team that no matter what, they've been able to stay relevant within the division. And now they're doing it as their players are maturing, those young players, and more importantly, those skilled players. Those skilled players are developing, and now they have a quarterback that has been through some systems, that have learned, that have sat back and watched, and he knows how to play winning football. Is he the best quarterback in the National Football League? Probably not, but he's playing like the best quarterback in the National Football League right now, but he knows how to use the weapons that he has. He's not trying. He knows how to win a game, but he understands that he has enough weapons around him, starting with Taylor, that he doesn't have to go out and win the games for them. He manages the game, don't do anything horrible, and allow those guys to go out and do what they do best.
Matt on our text line says, what is the deal with Xavier Restrepo? Why do people like him so much? Well, Xavier Restrepo was Cam Ward's teammate at Miami, had a successful college career. Correct me if I'm wrong, most receiving yards in Miami football history. He was there for a long time, though. We call that a compiler in the business. So a lot of receiving yards, but he was there for several years versus some of the other Miami receivers, who didn't stay for very long because they didn't have to, because they went to the NFL. And Xavier Restrepo was a fascination of a certain section of Titans fans in the offseason. He was an undrafted free agent. The Titans brought him in at Cam's behest, if I recall correctly. And there were Titans fans who thought that the connection the two of them had in Miami would translate to the NFL. Xavier Restrepo has been on the practice squad all season. Another team had an opportunity, many other teams, the entire NFL, had an opportunity to pluck him off the Titans practice squad when rosters were cut down. Nobody did. Mm-hmm. And with the injuries that have been decimating the Titans receiving room, starting with Calvin Ridley, Bryce Oliver also injured, those same Titans fans are hoping and wishing and praying that Xavier Restrepo will get his shot. Now Tyler Lockett's gone too. Remember, they cut bait on Tyler Lockett as well. Mm-hmm. So there's just this fascination with Xavier Restrepo. It wouldn't shock me if he got into a game at some point this season, maybe closer to the end of the season.
It wouldn't shock me either.
The way these wide receivers are hurt,
it wouldn't shock me either. But listen, this team has more problems than trying to, they got to figure out more things than trying to get Restrepo on the field. If he wasn't because they signed another wide receiver to the practice squad. That tells me that there's a potential that they may end up bringing Restrepo up. But it took all of that. It would have taken all of that for you to bring a guy up. It's unfortunate for him because that 4.7, 4.8, whatever he ran, will live with him forever. And it may hesitate. Some people would elevate him unless he just blows them out of the water. So I think the kid can play. I mean, he can't be no worse than what you've thrown out there already, to me. So will he get an opportunity? I don't know. But this team is so far, they got so many problems. Them worrying about trying to elevate Restrepo, I mean, that's probably the last on or close to the last on the list of things they gotta get accomplished. And I'm talking about for this game. I'm not even talking about for the season. I'm just talking about for this game. So can they, going back to, Indianapolis being a heavy favorite? I was talking to someone. I was at the barbershop yesterday. Barbershop talk. Yeah, that's how it is.
I'm very curious.
Exactly.
About this now.
So, people they start talking about what's happening with Chauncey Billups and all this other stuff and everything else. And we start talking about spreads. And this guy was like, "Well, this is why I don't, make bets." And he was talking about some other stuff. But I said, listen, usually in the NFL, you don't get no more than probably a 6-7 point spread here and there. And that's big. Because this league, even with the bad teams, this league is built on parity. They want there to be parity across the board. That's why the worst teams get the first pick of the NBA, the NFL draft. Why? Because we want to make sure that eventually you will become one of those middle teams that are fighting to make it to the playoffs, because it makes it interesting for everybody, for the fan base, for the league. So every fan base don't feel that they're out of it. So they purposely, these lines that are set is to get people. They're telling you this league is parity everywhere. So no matter if you're the Titans, you shouldn't lose by no more than 6 points. Well, you look up this weekend, it's a 14-point spread. What does that tell you? That tells you they ain't even the worst team. They're bad. A 14-point spread in the NFL game, you usually see that when there's a bunch of injuries, like quarterbacks out, starting running backs out, star wide receivers out, somebody on defense. Okay, they're going to win by 14. Okay, I can get with that. You don't see a team that's pretty much fully healthy with the exception of a few guys, but they're key guys. But even before that, they still was a 14-point dog. Everybody thinks you are a really bad team. So how can a really bad team, with the guys that they're missing going into this week, beat a team that seems to be geared up to make a push for a long playoff run? How do a team like that beats this team? Well, how they do it is the other team falls asleep and they get up 14, 21 points. And all of a sudden the pressure's on you and you got to start doing things outside of what you normally do. You start to press. That is probably the only way that the Titans could legitimately win this game. That's me saying. If they come in and they sleepwalk, because if they play like they did last game, they will get beat by 30 points. They will get beat. If they do what they did last week, the mistakes and everything, they will get beat by 30.
And that could happen. It's going to happen. If it doesn't happen Sunday, it's going to happen the rest of the year, just because they don't have the horses. But the key question, and I think Jason McCourty did a great job on our show laying this out, what this is like. But the goal, how do you get something out of this season? You got a coach who is probably a lame duck coach. When people are already saying who's doing the coaching search and stuff, if I'm Mike McCoy, I'm like, wait a minute, am I out? Do I even have a choice? What's the deal? You got a lame duck coach. You got players that understand the situation. You got lack of talent. So you've got to try to get, obviously, Cam Ward through, but DK and Io Manor and Helm and Gray, the guys that are going to be there over the next few years, you've got to get them through and get them something, get them to a next level and survive. That is not easy when you're in this situation. When every week you're like, hey, do they have a chance of even not getting blown out? Like, that's not a good question to be asking every week. They got a lot of football to be played.
I know that Halloween is a week from today, but I think the game on Sunday could mirror your favorite horror movie. Pick one. Derek, I know you like scary movies.
Yes. This could be like
What's your favorite scary movie?
my favorite scary movie, man. I guess any like Conjuring or something like that.
But as you're watching,
So you got the serious scary.
yeah,
right.
I'm like
See,
serious
my
scary,
first thought is Scream. I love Scream.
Screams are good, yeah.
Because it's funny and kind of scary.
but as you're watching those movies, sometimes you just want to watch through your fingers,
Yes.
right? That's how y'all should be watching the Titans game on Sunday. I think it's going to be gory for the Tennessee Titans. It is not going to go well. 615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on the Titans matchup against the Colts. Again, the Colts favored by 14.5, which is just crazy to say in the NFL. 615-737-1025. Chad Withrow from Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow will join us coming up next. We'll get his thoughts on the Titans as well as Vanderbilt's matchup against Missouri tomorrow. Chad Withrow joins us next. 615-737-1025. D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick is presented by Bax Homeworks. Financing options are available to make your remodel easier than you think. With Bax Homeworks, get a free estimate at baxhomeworks.com. D-Mace, Fingan, and Donick, 102.5 The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you live at Party Foul, 2031 Broadway, just down the road from Vanderbilt, where the Commodores will take on the Missouri Tigers tomorrow afternoon. We are pleased to be joined on our phone line, driven by Wilson County, Hyundai.com, by our friend Chad Withrow from Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow on Outkick. And Chad, let's start with the matchup that we are all anticipating, Missouri at Vanderbilt. I started the show by saying that this is a huge opportunity for Vanderbilt, not just on the field, but off the field as well. College game day is here for the first time in 17 years. There's a lot of buzz about Vanderbilt in the college football world, but I would say to the general/casual sports fan, the Commodores are a curiosity. But I think if they put on a great performance tomorrow, considering how much attention is going to be on this game, they will graduate from curiosity to Nashville's newest darlings. Do you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's a testament to how good and consistent this team has been this year that so many people just believe, hey, Vandy's going to do to Missouri what they did to LSU a week ago, which is really kind of physically dominate the game. I mean, you look up front what Vandy was able to do to LSU running the ball, outrushed them by almost 200 yards in that game. It was a beatdown. Even though it was a 7-point game, it was a beatdown for Vanderbilt. And I don't know that this game's going to be a beatdown, but I think it's going to feel a lot like the LSU game where you look up and Vandy wins by a touchdown, maybe 4 or 5 points, but it feels like they controlled the game and they got done what they wanted to get done. That's the way I feel about the matchup. For the opportunity on a national stage, it's huge. I was a little surprised that this is going to be an ESPN game and not an ABC game. I thought that it would at least be in that trifecta of games on ESPN and option into that one. But to have College Game Day there and to have an environment where Nate Bargatze is going to be the celebrity guest picker. I saw Dierks Bentley and Kenny Chesney are both performing. It's going to put Nashville in a spotlight, and associating this city with how hot it is right now with this program and how hot it is right now is only going to help Vandy. And keep in mind, guys, Jared Curtis, who is in some services the number 1 quarterback in the country, is visiting tomorrow now, which is big news. He's been committed to Georgia for a while, the Nashville Christian product, and he's going to be at this game as an official visitor with Vanderbilt. So, yeah, it's a great time to be a Door right now, and they got a huge opportunity tomorrow to really show off all the positive aspects of this program that Clark Lee has built.
Diego Pavia, at the moment on ESPN Bet, has the 4th best odds of winning the Heisman Trophy. He's behind Fernando Mendoza at Indiana, Ty Simpson at Alabama, and Julian Sayin at Ohio State. What more must Pavia do to receive an invite to the Heisman Trophy ceremony later this year?
I think he has to really shine in 2 of the following 3 games. Tomorrow against Missouri, at Texas, at Tennessee. If he plays heroically in those games and puts up big numbers, he's going to have a great shot. He will be in New York as a guest of the Heisman Trophy. He would have a great shot of winning the Heisman Trophy if that happens. Because keep in mind, he's really 1 for 2 in spotlight games. He did not play well at all at Alabama, and those turnovers cost Vanderbilt the game. And then he looked great against LSU, and he made some highlight-type plays that we've become – it's expected with Diego Pavia that he's going to face-plant some guy that's rushing him and spin out and find someone wide open down the field. That's what he did in that LSU game. If he has performances like LSU a week ago, tomorrow against Missouri, at Texas, and at Tennessee, even if 2 of the 3 are big-time performances, because there's not a lot of greatness going on around him also, guys, I think he's going to have a great shot to win the Heisman Trophy. But, again, it starts this final stretch tomorrow against Missouri. He needs to have a big game and shine with the national spotlight on him.
Now, Chad, what do you think of Missouri? Because, once again, they're going up against a team that it's giving up less than 20 points a game. Last week it was LSU with 11 points a game, and they beat LSU and scored 30 points. 30-plus points to get them, and now you have Missouri, whose defense is only giving up 16 points. What do you make of Missouri? Because they run the ball very well. but they don't do as much in the passing game.
Yeah, I was really curious, D-Mace, to see them a week ago at Auburn because that was their first game away from Columbia. And they didn't look great. You know, Auburn's feisty, and they've got a good defense. They don't have a good offense, but Missouri found a way to win in overtime, which is all you're trying to do in the SEC. You know, you're not going to sneeze at any win if it's in overtime or whatever it is, especially on the road. So they got the job done last week. Against Alabama, I was impressed that they sacked Ty Simpson 5 times. I was really blown away because I haven't watched a ton of them this year. I watched a lot of them against Kansas. I watched a lot of the Alabama game. I didn't see a lot of the Auburn game last week. But what jumps out to me is their athleticism across their defensive front. They got some dudes up front that can get to the quarterback. Can those guys contain Diego Pavia? Can they stay in a rush lane and make Pavia beat Missouri with a more precise throwing game? I think that's always the goal when you go against this Tim Beck offense with Diego Pavia. But Vandy does such a good job offensively of misdirection, of faking the jet sweep, of getting you off balance and playing on your heels, that they sort of dictate what they want to do offensively. So I've been impressed with Missouri. I don't think they're one of the best teams in the SEC. But when you look at that top 8 to 10 group, there's not a lot of separation between any of them. And I throw Missouri right in that mix of the top 8 to 10 in this conference, where, you know, it wouldn't shock you if number 10, who I think right now is either Tennessee or Florida, they could beat number 1 at any time, and it wouldn't surprise anybody. That's the way I feel about Missouri.
Now, we know that Missouri runs the ball very effectively. They got 3 runners that are, per carry, averaging over 6 yards per carry or close to 6 yards. I think the last back he averaged 5.9 yards per carry. So they run the ball very effectively. But on the other side, Vandy has given up a lot against the run. You saw what they couldn't do against Alabama. Alabama was able to run the ball very effectively on them. So what can Vandy do to stop Missouri's? Because that's the only way I think Missouri stays in this and makes it a competitive game to the end.
Yeah, and to do what LSU couldn't do and can't do this year, right? I mean, that was the key of Vandy's win last week. LSU can't run the football. So teams that can't run the ball, Vandy's going to have a lot of success against them. And you're right, that's not Missouri. They've run it really well. Again, I would add, you know, their season really started with Alabama. You know, they had so many home games front-loaded. Their toughest game was Kansas, which they had to come back and escape that one at home. So starting with that Alabama game, then going to Auburn last week, that run game hasn't been the same against Alabama and Auburn's defense. I think Vandy, athletically on defense, they got some dudes too. So I think they're going to have a good chance to slow down that Missouri game. I also think this could be a pretty low-scoring game. Mm-hmm. You know, I know it was low-scoring on the Flames with Missouri and Auburn last week. I think it was, 31-24 Vandy won against Missouri. I think the game could be played in the upper teens, low 20s with both of these teams. So that's what I'm going to watch. Can Vandy stop the run again against a team that wants to run it and is good at it? Because that's not LSU's strength.
Chad Withrow is with us. Adam, correct me if I'm wrong before I ask Chad this question. Missouri is, like Vanderbilt, a team that has a high level of time of possession, correct?
Missouri is 4th in the nation in time of possession. Vanderbilt is 27th.
Chad, I was shocked to see that. I did not realize that about Missouri. So to your point about what kind of game this is going to be, we know Vanderbilt likes to play a low possession game. They like to eat the clock. You notice that there are plenty of plays where the clock is literally at 1 second. They're ready to snap the ball with 5 or 6 seconds, but they let it go down to 1 because they want to just milk so much of the clock. So I wonder how it goes. You have to make the most of every possession, which is the key to Vanderbilt's success. Is they're cashing in with points when they do that, but there's not much margin for error in a lower possession game. But it seems like Missouri wants to play that like that too.
Yeah, both are very comfortable. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, Willie, that they both want to do this, right? They want to drag the game down in the mud. They want to slow it up. They want to keep their offense on the field. Both have good offensive lines. I think Vandy's got a great offensive line. And the way they flip the sides and do all that keeps teams off balance. But, yeah, both teams want to have high time of possession. They want the defense to stay out there, which could certainly lead to a low-scoring game. You know, what I don't think is going to happen to Missouri in this game, let's say Vandy's playing an Ole Miss or a Tennessee that likes to play tempo, that likes to score fast, that likes to get moving up and down the field. those types of teams, I think, can get quickly frustrated with a team that holds the ball for a long time, and they can start to press. And when you do that, you make mistakes. That's not going to be Missouri in this game because they want to do exactly what Vanderbilt wants to do. They want to take it down to 3, 2, or 1 on the play clock and hold on to the ball as long as possible. But it's one of those crazy games where you punt once and you back a team up. Well, if they start marching on a drive, you look up and 9 minutes are off the clock, right? Like the first quarter's over before you know it, and it really shortens the game when you can do that. So, yeah, I would not be surprised at all if, much like the Auburn-Missouri game this past week, if this is going to be a really low-scoring game tomorrow.
I'm curious your perspective on the pulse of the Tennessee fans here. We know, the nature of the rivalry between Tennessee and Vanderbilt, but also the dynamic of Tennessee would love to get as many quality wins as they can. And so the weight of a win over Vanderbilt in the last week will be that much more if Vanderbilt is still in the picture by then. And, if Vanderbilt lost another couple of games, that would take away from the magnitude of that game. So what do Tennessee fans think as they observe Vanderbilt, Missouri?
They're Vandy fans for this week. I really believe that. I mean, if you're a Tennessee fan, you are all black and gold and not the Missouri black and gold. I'm talking anchor down black and gold this week because you get a chance at home against Vandy, right? You don't play Missouri this year. Missouri doesn't have a very difficult schedule after this also. So you really need Missouri to get that second loss against Vandy because you still have a chance in front of you to take care of business and beat Vandy at home if you're Tennessee. But I'm looking at Tennessee's schedule, and I could very easily see a loss or two ahead of the Vandy game. I mean, what if it's the inverse of a year ago where it's Vandy walking in with 2 losses, the last game of the season, and they're playing Tennessee with a chance to play spoiler and knock them out of the playoff. And there's a lot of possibilities. That's a long way off.
Yeah, there's a lot of football to be played. No question.
You're talking to Coach Willie right now, Chad.
Coach Willie
Let's be clear.
is definitely taking it week to week.
Willie, I've seen Peter Burns and everyone like, oh, please, God, let Tennessee Vandy be for a playoff play-in game. Please let that game matter to that extent. And I'm thinking it is over a month away. Who knows what both teams are going to look like by then. But I do see a conceivable scenario where Tennessee's having to play spoiler or trying to play spoiler with them having no chance of the playoff, and Vandy in a win-and-in scenario, much like here in Nashville a year ago, where Tennessee came in and Vandy had a chance to play spoiler. But I think Tennessee fans, they're looking at last week, just the temperature, and they're looking at that Bama game, and I think it's just more anger because Tennessee shot themselves in the foot repeatedly. Statistically, and watching that game, I don't think Bama is any better than Tennessee. I think Tennessee got a safety because they tripped over their offensive lineman after an offensive pass interference penalty, and they had a 14-point swing or a 10-point swing at the end of the first half, and that's your ball game. That's really the difference in the game. So I think both Tennessee and Vandy, if you're looking at the similar opponent, look at that Alabama game and probably both kind of feel the same way about their chances against them.
Yeah, Coach Willie's cautionary tale. I think we could all remember 10 or 12 years ago, Dak Prescott and I can't remember the quarterback for Ole Miss, but Ole Miss and Mississippi State were on the cover of Sports Illustrated, like number 1 and number 2 or number 2 and number 3. And 3 or 4 weeks later, they were both, playing in the Citrus Bowl or they were both out of the national title picture, even though it was a great story in late October, right? So we got a lot of the season to be played. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and look, you don't have to go that far back. Just looking here in this state, 2022, Tennessee is the number 1 ranked team in the first college football playoff ranking. They go to Columbia, South Carolina at night as like an 18-point favorite, and they give up 63 points and get absolutely shellacked in a game where Hendon Hooker gets injured, right? Remember, they wore the orange helmets, which have never been seen since. They ditched those orange helmets, gave them to a high school somewhere, and you will never see Tennessee in orange helmets again because of the way they played that night. So I say that to say, especially now in this SEC, things can change quickly. Like there's not a single team on the schedule for any of these teams that you look at and say, oh, that's an easy win. That's not going to be hard at all. I mean, there's a lot of these games that can come down to a coin toss in the fourth quarter.
Chad Withrow.
Okay, I got one more quick one for Chad.
Okay,
I have to ask Chad about the Tony Vitello story. Chad, from where I sit, this is one of the most out of nowhere things, just because what I know about professional baseball and the day-to-day life, the mentality of a pro baseball player, a major league player, as compared to Tony Vitello's style as a college coach. I'm really curious how that is going to play out. So were you as surprised as I was to hear about that?
I was shocked. I was shocked. When the time went on with this thing and they hadn't hired a manager and you stopped hearing Tony Vitello's name, I just thought, well, that's just common sense that a guy who had zero professional experience wouldn't get looked at for that job. And then the news breaks on Saturday that he's the target for the Giants. And I was shocked, Willie. I mean, it's completely unprecedented. It's never happened. We've had college coaches hired that had, 10 years prior bench coach experience for a major league team, or that had a prior relationship with that major league team. We've never had a guy with no experience in the pros get a Major League Baseball managerial position, especially at a place in a franchise like the San Francisco Giants. So I tip my hat to Tony Vitello. I'm honestly surprised it took him that long to take the job. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. I think you sort of need to do it also if you want to trailblaze and open the door maybe for future college coaches to get an opportunity if he goes there and does well, where they can make the move up also. And, the impact Tony Vitello made on that program and on the entire athletic department, it's immeasurable. I mean, he was sending videos, giving pep talks to little league teams if people ask. He was showing up and reading to elementary schools. His charisma is what sort of wins the day here. And I think it's that charisma that got him this unprecedented opportunity to go straight from college to Major League Baseball. But like you, Willie, I'm stunned. I have no clue how it's going to play out in the majors, but I'll tell you this, it's not going to be boring. That's
Nope.
for sure. They are going to be very different. I could see them having a totally different personality and mindset from every other major league team. So this thing could crash and burn in a year or two, or they could be the most exciting team in all of baseball.
Chad Withrow has been our guest on D. Mace, Vingan, and Donick from Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow. He joins us every Friday afternoon. Chad, great stuff as always. We'll catch up next week.
Big weekend, boys. Excited for it. Thanks for having me on. We'll talk next week.
Always a pleasure to chat with Chad Withrow. 615-737-1025. I want to sneak in a quick Predators thought here after the Predators won last night 2-1 against the Vancouver Canucks, because I have a question for a certain section of the Predators fan base. We'll get to that next. 615-737-1025. We are live at Party Foul 2031 Broadway, just down the road from Vanderbilt's campus. Stop by and register for a pair of 50-yard line seats to the sold-out game tomorrow. You must be present to register. You do not have to be present to win. So at the very least, stop on by 2031 Broadway and sign up to win a pair of tickets to see Missouri take on Vanderbilt tomorrow. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1-2-5 the game. D. Mace, Vingen, and Donick, 102.5. The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingen.
Solid choice right here.
And, yeah, man. Can't go wrong with that.
We're gonna call Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
You have 1 hour to come to Party Foul, 2031 Broadway, where Midtown meets Vanderbilt's campus, thereabouts.
Yeah.
20
Broadway and 21st.
Broadway and 21st. So 2031 Broadway. If you want a pair of tickets to the game tomorrow, Missouri at Vanderbilt, come to 2031 Broadway, register to win. You don't have to be present to win. So as long as you stop by and fill out an entry form, that's all you have to do. You do not have to stick around until the end of the show, although we encourage you to. And at 5:45, we will draw the winner. So you have roughly an hour to come on down here, 2031 Broadway, at Party Foul, and sign up for a chance to win tickets to see Vanderbilt play Missouri tomorrow at First Bank Stadium.
There's free parking next door.
Yes, there is.
So you don't have to worry about parking.
2-hour validation.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
big around here.
That is big.
That is big around here.
30 minutes is big. Anything you can get around
2 hours,
here.
you're
Exactly.
covered.
It's like
2 hours,
eternity.
yeah. That's a luxury in Nashville. Before we get back to Vanderbilt, Missouri, I do want to sneak in a quick Predators thought. The Predators won last night 2-1 against the Vancouver Canucks. Game 2 of the 5-game homestand. That homestand continues tomorrow and Sunday at Bridgestone Arena. The Predators will take on the LA Kings tomorrow and the Dallas Stars on Sunday before wrapping up the homestand on Tuesday against the Tampa Bay Lightning. But here is my question. And to the texter who tried to guess what I was going to ask and said, no, Adam, we still don't have any faith in the coach. My question isn't about Andrew Burnett. My question is about UC Saros. UC Saros last night played well, to say the least. Yet another steal for UC Saros. So the Predators have won 3 games this season. And UC Saros, statistically, has stolen 2 of them, which is a fancy way of saying that UC Saros is directly responsible for 2 of the Predators' 3 wins this season. So my question for all of you UC Saros skeptics out there, and I know there are a lot of you, how are you feeling about his performance so far this season? Because there was a lot of pressure on UC Saros when the season started, as his new contract started. Last season was the worst season of his career. A lot of you still wish that the Predators traded UC Saros instead of having traded Yaroslav Askarov, though. Have you taken a look at Yaroslav Askarov's statistics with the San Jose Sharks this season? A 5.72 goals against average and 838 save percentage. And his career numbers, as Willie points out, not great either. I know the Sharks are not a great team, but I digress.
But the environment has a lot to do with your success. And Askarov, that's part of the deal.
Yes, so UC Saros.
I don't know if there is a goalie on the planet that could be successful for them right now.
Well, they need, 5 points from Macklin Celebrini last night to beat
Yes.
the Rangers. Saros is 3-2-2 with a 2.53 goals against average and 9.11 save percentage this season. The Predators can't score goals. They've been held to 2 or fewer goals in 6 of the past 8 games, or 6 of the first 8 games, because they've only played 8 games. 2 or fewer goals in 6 of the 8 games. They are 30th in the league in scoring per game. And yet UC Saros has given the Predators a chance to win on most nights. So, UC Saros skeptics, how are you feeling about his performance? Willie, what did you make of Saros last night?
Well, Saros was excellent last night, and I think it's, and I've been saying this all along, it's really not Saros that is going to be the issue. I think I'm confident that Saros will do what he does if you give him a chance, and that's what they're really trying to do. And they've been able to do it more often than not. They've played 8 games. In 5 of the 8, the Predators have had a 2-1 lead in the third period at one point in the game, which I think is a pretty interesting stat. Now, the problem is they're not finding a way to get that third goal to put the game away, which they have got to start doing. We don't have time to get into that, but it's obvious they've got to find more ways to score. The power play has been abysmal. They've got to figure that out. But what they've done, and they haven't even gotten Nick Hague back, which should help them also defend in front of Saros. He's not going to provide any offense, but he also can fortify what they're doing defensively. He should be back in the next few days, according to what Barry Trotz told us on Tuesday. But if they give Saros a chance, I think he will keep them in the game. He's not going to hold them to one goal every night, but I think he's going to do his job if they can stay confident in that structure.
I think he played last night the way that we have seen him or accustomed to him playing. Stealing some goals, being pressured at the net and holding up. They did a good job on the power play, the kill of the power play.
The penalty kill.
The penalty kill, excuse me. They did a great job. UC had some terrific saves in that span. So he's playing, and I know he's had some, has had his mishaps this season as well, but he's played closer to what we are used to him playing than not. That game last night, you can say he won that game for him.
He did. Statistically,
exactly.
He won the game for
yes. And Tuesday was the exact opposite. Tuesday looked like last year's team.
Yes.
Where they got loose in the coverage. Mm-hmm. They had turnovers that led to 2-on-1s, breakaways, and there were too many of them. And a skilled team like the Ducks, they broke the game down in the second half of the game. So I think that's going to be the question all year long for the Predators as it relates to Saros. I think Saros will be fine if they can keep the environment in front of him stable. Then the next question is, will they be able to generate enough offense to win enough games if they can do that? These are things that have to come together. They're 3-3-2. There's still a lot of questions out there.
One texter says a goaltender at an elite caliber should steal you a third of your games because of his ability. Your goaltender is normally the best player on the ice. Well, they have 3 wins, and Saros has stolen 2 of them, so that's 2/3.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll see. The offense is a gigantic issue. Again, the Predators have scored 2 or fewer goals in 6 of 8 games. And Willie, as we pointed out the other day, the 2 games where the Predators scored more than 2 goals, one was the win in Ottawa, where the Predators had 2 empty net goals. And then the other game was in Toronto the next night with some late goals when the game was more or less out of hand.
They got down 5-2, made it 5-3. They gave up an empty net goal. Then they scored another goal to get down 6-4. But they were chasing the game at that point. They need more goals early. They have 3 first-period goals in 8 games. So they've got to find that extra goal. Power play is obvious. They've got to get that fixed. And I wonder at one point, will they try something drastic, break up the 5 guys that normally are out there? Or, I've seen coaches do different things, right? I've seen people go as far as to throw the 4th liners out there. And Terry Crisp used to have some funny stories about that, where he would say, hey, you guys, the 4th liners, get out there. You guys can do better. And then he realizes about 30 seconds in, maybe that wasn't a good idea. These guys are not goal scorers for a reason. But they have to try something. They've got to shake it up. They need better results on the power play, and they're going to face a couple of very good teams on Saturday and Sunday, which is why last night's game, Coach Willie doesn't talk about must-wins in October, but that was
a big win.
Urgent. An urgent need for a win last night as any game that you will see in October. That team really needed to win that game last night.
Yeah, I think if anything, so you won't even get to a point where the morale is now starting to be tested with the team this early in the season. I guess the question that I want to ask both of you, and maybe you guys answer on the other side, how did it get this way? Like, how did this team go from, they could score, to not being able to score goals in the last 2 seasons? It's like all of a sudden this team, because even when they started to make the sales in that game, the team kind of responded in a good way. They were scoring goals. And then all of a sudden the next season, it just all went to hell in a handbasket.
615-737-1025. We'll take your Predators thoughts. UC Saros skeptics, how are you feeling about his performance so far? The Predators have 3 wins. UC Saros has stolen 2 of them. We'll also answer Derek's question quickly on the other side. We will get back into Vanderbilt's matchup against Missouri as well. 615 737 1025. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 the game. D-Mace, Fingan, and Donick 1025, The Game. Broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home in the $99 yearly Beehive membership. Where the buzz is always about great service. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David Janes here with you. We are live at Party Foul in Midtown, 2031 Broadway. We have a pair of tickets to tomorrow's game between Missouri and Vanderbilt. A pair of 50-yard line seats, to be specific. And you can win those if you stop by Party Foul and register to win. We will be doing the drawing at 5:45. So you have roughly 40 minutes to get down here and to register to win. You do not have to be present to win, but you do have to come out here. You do have to come down here to sign up. So if you are within the sound of my voice, 2031 Broadway, sign up to win a pair of tickets to Vanderbilt in Missouri. What are we looking at?
Well,
here?
the restream, we have a weird,
Yeah.
the connection on the Wi-Fi is, we're on site, so it's not as, so it has a tendency for our screens. We get freeze framed in very odd positions.
It's like
I get freeze framed on D-Mace, and D-Mace gets frozen on mine, and Adam, you're frozen on both of ours.
Okay.
So you got mid-bite when you're taking some nice chicken wings or chicken tenders. Which
Yes.
You had some hot tenders.
medium spice.
Medium spice.
Medium spice.
The Party Foul food here is fantastic.
by the way, the
by the
turkey
way.
burger is great. That turkey
Yes.
burger was really good.
I had the Nashville Cuban sandwich, which I guess is an oxymoron. Is there Nashville Cuban? It's like a fusion.
Yes.
Whatever it was good.
So come on down to Party Foul. You can eat all of the delicious food. They also have boozy slushies, including one called the Willy Pop.
I tried to get a bougie slushy, but they said they couldn't do it without.
Well, it
The
wouldn't
good
be a
stuff in
boozy
there.
slushy if it doesn't have booze in it, Derek. It would just be a slushy.
But I wanted it minus the booze because we're on air, man, and I'm driving.
That's like ordering a grilled cheese without the cheese.
I know, but I had to do it in this situation.
You
I
can't
just
do
wanted
that.
the sugar.
Yeah.
Basically, I just wanted the icy sugar,
Chase isn't here anymore, so you can drink
Yeah.
on the job.
but I still can't do that. I got to drive home. But the smoked
Y'all behave.
Gouda turkey burger was excellent. So when you come down here, get you the smoked Gouda turkey burger along with the things that Adam had and Willie had.
Yeah.
Take a look at the Willy Pop here. It's got your name written all over
There
it,
you go,
Willie
Willie.
Donick. The Willy Pop, it's right there.
And it got a bird on the front.
There's a bottle of liquor sticking out of it.
They're coming after you, Willie. The
Okay.
birds.
I wonder why that would be.
Exactly.
I thought we were far enough away from where were we?
From Portland.
From Portland.
Nah,
Yeah.
those are distant relatives.
Yes.
Those are cousins.
The word travels fast.
So we are here in advance of Vanderbilt's matchup against Missouri tomorrow at First Bank Stadium. Big game, a lot of stakes, not only in the SEC, but in the college football playoff race as well. You all know that College Game Day is going to be here, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on campus. Nate Bargatze will be the guest picker. Dirks Bentley and Kenny Chesney will be performing as part of College Game Day. A lot of excitement.
Willie will be there.
Willie will also be
I'm
there.
going early. I'm going to be the early bird.
That absolutely. So you can't forget that.
Let's not forget, there is a Saturday night in Smashville tomorrow night. So I will be working tomorrow. But before my work duties start at the Bridgestone Arena, I'll be right there. I'll be in the mix with correspondent Max Hurst
They understand.
and correspondent Kara Hammer.
Hey Willie,
So we all will be working the Predator game, but we're going to try to take in some of the ambiance on the lawn, which is we're only just a couple blocks from where that's going to take place. Just right up the
so
street.
how do you handle? Because I know you're not following the game, but you are following the game a little bit. Maybe
Yeah.
on intermissions, you're going to check to see what the game
Well, fortunately, it's a 2:30 game,
is.
so it'll be
Over and done with.
pretty much. It'll be now. Sometimes a pregame
So
show.
you got to
starts-
warm. You got to taper your excitement, man. If they win, you got to take. What
Let's
are you
just
gonna
say,
do? You gonna call
I've
out?
got to do my homework before the game starts because my game preparation is going to go right out the window once that game
Hey,
starts.
Adam Willie's gonna call out.
If I call one of the LA Kings Pavia or something, I'm distracted.
Very much
Yeah.
so.
But here is what I said at the beginning of the show, and I want to discuss it further. I would describe the Vanderbilt Commodores as a curiosity at the moment for the general population, the casual sports fan.
That's a great question.
They are a curiosity. You've probably heard what's going on just down the street here. Vanderbilt's ranked in the top 10 for the first time in nearly 80 years. They have a quarterback who has a lot of moxie. They have a coach who's incredibly likable. Vanderbilt alum, great story. There are a ton of stories being written about Vanderbilt football right now. But I still think they are in that curiosity stage. People are catching wind of what's going on, but maybe they're not fully invested. Like, hey, this is a cool story, but maybe not thinking anything more of it than that. Earlier, I likened it to when the Predators went to the Stanley Cup final in 2017. When that run started, there were watch parties outside the arena. They were well attended, but nothing extravagant. But then the Predators swept the Blackhawks. They kept winning. The crowds swelled. You saw what it was like downtown when the Predators were in the Stanley Cup final. Not saying that Vanderbilt is on that level yet, but I do firmly believe that if the Commodores can win tomorrow against the Missouri Tigers at First Bank Stadium with College Game Day there to preview it all, I think the Commodores will graduate from curiosity to Nashville's newest darlings. That's why I think this is a huge opportunity for the school, not just the football team. We heard Chad talk about it earlier in the previous hour. The spotlight has never been brighter on Vanderbilt football as it is right now. And Willie, you can provide for us the historical perspective as someone who was a part of the school, an athlete at the school. What could this win tomorrow mean for? Look, there are more games to play. This team has much bigger goals than beating Missouri tomorrow. But just in terms of grabbing the imagination of Nashville, what does tomorrow mean?
I think it even goes beyond Nashville. It goes nationwide. But like for an alum like myself, and a person that's been watching Vanderbilt football since 1989, or even going back to 1988 when I went on my recruiting trip and saw a game at that stadium for the first time. All the football that I've watched, I can't speak for all the Vanderbilt fans, but as recently as 2 years ago, if you said, they're going to have a chance as number 10 to play on game day, and if they win, they'll be in the conversation for the college football player, I would have thought that was like, yeah, D-Mace, you and I could go to Mars next week. Like it was like an unreachable thing. Like as recently as 2 years ago, they were so down. You remember, like they had that. So it's a remarkable. So you're playing with house money, I think, to some degree for the existing fan base, right? Because we're loving every second of this, right? Because this is just uncharted territory. Even if they did not finish the way we hope they will, it's still a memorable thing. But let's bring it back to 2017. I think that's a great analogy because the Predators got an extra couple layers of fans out of that run. And what has been Vanderbilt's big issue in the football stadium is layers of fans. Yeah. They need another couple layers of fans. They have always hoped that they could grab people that moved in from Michigan or, they don't have a team that they've grown up with here and they live in a city like Nashville. There's a lot of people like that, and they have not captured those people. Something like this, another win or two, maybe they get an extra few thousand season ticket holders, and that helps keep out the opposition fans when Alabama and Florida and all those teams come in, which has been all too often the case.
Yeah, Clark said it, when we had him on earlier in the week. when you have games like you had versus LSU, yeah, Vandy people showed up, but there still was too much purple
Right.
in the stadium. There's still why? Because it's still lagging behind some.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
those
it's
LSU fans
understandable.
bought the tickets
Exactly,
in the summer.
long ago.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you want to get it to a point, and this game and this season will help get it to a point where even before the season starts, those tickets are already bought by your students,
Exactly.
your alumni, your fans. So then when game time comes, they only have their allotment of tickets that they were given to them. They don't have anything else. So the fan base will be predominantly Vanderbilt alums, fans, or students. It hasn't been that way for years, and it's getting closer and closer to being that, especially with that new stadium opening. So, I mean, what they're doing over right up the street, well, right behind us, as we sit at Party Foul, what they're doing right there on that campus is remarkable, knowing where this program was, like you said, Willie, 2-3 years ago.
Let's go to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Let's start with Adam in Portland. Adam, thank you so much for calling. Please go ahead.
What's up, Adam? Hey, you want to know what's interesting? So when Vanderbilt beat Lenora Sellers, he got hurt, and then they beat South Carolina. I was just going through the YouTube, like through my YouTube. If you hit the live button on YouTube, it'll show you who's posted live right now according to your algorithm. And I ended up seeing Elijah Campbell, who hosts the show in South Carolina. And I'm like, is that our Elijah Campbell that we used to have here?
Mm-hmm.
So I called the show, and I was like, Elijah. And so you know what they know about Vanderbilt? Nothing. They asked me to come back. They're like, you should be a resident Vandy fan for us because we don't know what the hell's going on with Vanderbilt. We don't understand why they're so hyped. I'm like, because they have a quarterback and they have a coach and they spent money. That's it. Like, that's the end of the story. Like, Vanderbilt's never done any of that. They've never had a good coach. James Franklin for 5 minutes. They've never had a good quarterback except Jay Cutler for 5 minutes, and they've never spent money on the football program. So, like, nobody knows anything about us. That's the answer. When I hear you say that, I'm like, nobody knows anything, Adam. Like, it's really weird. Everybody should know at this point, and nobody knows.
Thank you for the call,
They're
Adam.
doing things at unprecedented levels, not just on the playing surface, but I think the attention and they're being deliberate with the program. They're putting money into the program. They're putting resources into the program. They are deliberately trying to make this program a program that the alums, that the players, that the fan base can be proud of. We haven't seen this. Willie's been there. He's went to the school, so he knows. We haven't seen. It's not just the play on the field. It's everybody that is involved with it is doing things intentionally to make this a winning program.
Let's go to Randy on our phone line. Randy, thank you so much for calling. Please go ahead.
Hey, how you guys doing? At the end,
Good.
I've got a great dad joke, but I've been a Vanderbilt fan since 1966. I was 7. Fred Pace was the coach. I don't remember the score in 1971 when Ole Miss beat Vanderbilt. What I do remember is going as a family to the 1974 Peach Bowl, and Dennis Harrison played. And then in 1982, so I remember a lot of fun memories just supporting them over the years since I was 7. You know, I've seen a lot of misery, but, you know, like I said, I don't remember any of the blowouts. I remember the bowl games and the trips on a bus to Knoxville to watch Tennessee play. And also, I'm super excited for this and, take advantage of it. And then at the end, I've got a great dad joke in honor of mine and Big Joe's birthday's tomorrow. It'll be a granddad joke. So here we go. What did one saggy boob say to the other?
Oh, my God. What did it say, Randy?
It said, we've got to get some support here. People are going to start thinking we're nuts.
Oh, my God.
Goodness.
Randy, thank you. Oh, my God.
I was worried there for a minute.
We got to screen those dad jokes, David.
I know. Listen, I thought it was just going to be a good one. That's on me, boys. That's on me.
Goodness. Oh, Lord.
You guys are going to get me in trouble.
Oh, Lord.
No, you're already in trouble.
You're already in trouble. Yeah, don't blame that on us.
I'm gonna
We
get
ain't got you nowhere.
I am in deep doo-doo.
We tried to help you get out of it.
We tried. We did try.
In case you missed it, my wife Bridget,
Uh,
who works down the street at Monroe Carroll, Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. She stopped by at the beginning of the show to lend support to her husband.
Yes.
And then she learned about all the hot mom loving I was doing on the show the other day that she was unaware of. Although she can go back and listen to the podcast, and I did give her a shout out as a hot mom.
exactly.
And
So
we had your back on that.
yes, I appreciate that. So between that and Randy's dad joke, I'm going to get in big trouble.
All we can hope for, D-Mates, is we're softening the blow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because the damage is done.
Already.
Oh my goodness. Let's go to Mike on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Mike, thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Well, if you want to answer the question, it's called Get Hard and Rise Up on that previous joke. Now, I'm going to ask you something. We've got the NBA now, which is in crisis, and nobody's talking about it. It's almost like that nobody wants to talk about the massive corruption that's now going on with the FBI and the Congress and the Senate and even all the way to the White House. And none of the sports programs, including yours, are even raising the issue. Why? I mean, this is terrible.
Because of Vanderbilt football. Is that where you're going?
Yeah, Vanderbilt. Yeah, good. Hey, I hope they win, and I support them. But you know what? What's happening in the NBA is going to affect Vanderbilt. College football, NFL, all sports. The corruption now that's going to be exposed is going to hurt. Don't sweep it under the rug. You remember the Chicago Black Sox? They were a team that had 8 people that threw the 1919 World Series. That was one team, 8 people. It changed baseball forever. Now what the NBA has done, and this is not some isolated incident with one team. This is across states. This is across players. This is across coaches. That the organized crime has infiltrated the NBA, and now we know it's infiltrated the NFL. That will come out. So when we go and bet sports, last teams, really bet on, and does Cam Ward have a busted ankle, or does he have a broken shoulder? That's what we're doing now. The
Thank you for the call, Mike. We understand the point. That has absolutely nothing to do with what we're discussing.
Yeah.
We aren't.
Listen, Vanderbilt.
We aren't sweeping it under the rug.
Vanderbilt
it's
is
just
doing
not
well.
Pressing to us.
Hey, if it was the NFL, we would be talking about it. Exactly. We're trying to have some fun here. If it was Friday, if it was the NFL, we would be talking about it, best believe. But because it's basketball, it just came out. And frankly, if we had a basketball team in the city, it would be a bigger story. But because we don't have a basketball team, and we rarely, and I'm speaking honestly on this, we rarely talk about basketball. I wish we would talk about it more because I love it, but we don't have a team. So it's hard to talk about a sport when you don't have a team representing that sport in your city. So with that being said, we're not sweeping it under the rug. We did talk about it some yesterday. But we're not going to allow it to dominate our airways because the Vanderbilt Commodores are doing so well, and they got a big game, and game day is here. So rightfully, sir, they earn the right to dominate our airwaves on 102.5 The Game here with DVD. They deserve that right, so we're giving them that right.
615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on Vanderbilt, Missouri, and I guess the NBA gambling scandal. If you'd like to, we aren't sweeping it under the rug.
But it is a big story.
And of course it is. Of course it is. But we are playing to the broadest audience, and we are right down the street from Vanderbilt, where College Game Day will be for the first time in 17 years. And this is something that's more pressing to us at the moment than what's happening in the NBA, without disregarding how important that is. 615-737-1025. We see your phones. We see your texts. We'll get to them next. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Bing, 1025 The Game. It's Vingan and Donick 1025. The game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. We are live at Party Foul, 2031 Broadway. In roughly 15 minutes, we are going to give away a pair of tickets to the game tomorrow, Missouri against Vanderbilt.
Okay.
50-yard line seats. We are doing that. We are giving them away in about 15 minutes. So if you are within the sound of my voice, 2031 Broadway, not too far from campus, and if you want a pair of tickets, you need to come here now, and you can register to win. You don't have to be present for the drawing, even though if you come now, you should probably stay because it's happening in 15 minutes. And the food is delicious and the service is exquisite here at Party Foul. But 15 minutes, we are going to draw a name. So be sure to get here. Let's go to Chris on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Chris, thank you for waiting. Please go ahead.
Hey, guys. Hope you guys are doing great. Listen, the things have changed in the SEC, and that's Vanderbilt. And the administration is fully behind the athletic department, which we've never seen before. So I think this is just the beginning of you're seeing kind of a change with their football program. And Willie can attest to this. The administration at the school in itself has never really backed sports the way they are right now. So I think this is going to be leading to more success in the future with more donors wanting to spend more money on facilities, NIL. And we've got to go get Clark Lee and Jerry Kill and Tim Beck a new extension. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chris.
Well, I do think Tim Beck in particular is going to be pretty sought after for his offensive mind.
Yes.
So I do think it'll be he's earned it. He has earned a raise for sure. So, yeah, this is when you have success, this is part of it, right? Your coaches get sought after. You got to get raises. You have to continue putting the resources in there. So welcome to the game. This is where you wanted to be.
It's the big boy table.
Now this is part of it.
They poach. That's what they do.
Let's go to Steve in Nashville on our phone line. Steve, thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
What's up, gentlemen? Hey, I was born. My father actually coached at Vanderbilt, so I didn't have a choice but to cheer for Vandy. And grew up watching Willie post up Shaq, so I've been through it all.
How many times did you see that happen?
Oh, yeah, he took him to school. He took Chris. Did you play against Chris Jackson, Willie?
Yes. When I was a freshman, Chris Jackson was in his second and final season at LSU. They beat Vanderbilt. They beat us at Memorial Gym. I think the final score was 121-113. Chris Jackson, a freshman Shaq, and a freshman Stanley Roberts.
Against Willie Donick.
Well, I didn't have much impact on the game. I did not have much impact on the game. But we did have 2 wins over Shaq in my career at Vanderbilt, both at Memorial Gym.
Yeah.
And not because of me.
The title is unbelievable.
Not because of me.
It was. But anyway, I'm just speechless what they've done over there. It's hard to wrap my mind around. The stadium is great. We got seats in the south end zone, and they did a great job with it. So I just hope they take care of Clark and the coaching staff and keep them going. So it's super exciting. Can't wait.
Thank you for the call, Steve. And I remember when the SEC expanded, there was a lot of conversation about, does Vanderbilt even belong? Is Vanderbilt ever going to win a game?
When the reality of NIL was happening and they added Texas and Oklahoma,
right?
I think there was a sense of, are they just going to bow out, right? Because their season had been so poor the year before as well. I do think they had to decide, are we going to push forward or is this the time to get off the ride? And to their credit, they have gotten into the game of NIL. Because at that point, they were way behind. They were reluctant to get into the NIL game. They were like, yeah, why? This isn't what it should be about. But you have no choice because the ride was the horse was way out of the barn.
Well, they probably thought like other people, this will be a fad. It is sort of we'll get a handle of it, and we can go back to business as usual. But they found out, no, you're not getting a handle on it, and there's no more business as usual. Don't go on anymore. So you got to conduct business a different way. And if you want to, I think it was almost easy to sort of back in the day to sort of being Vandy and say, you know what, we just gonna sit back here because ain't nobody paying attention to us. You know, if we win, great. If we lose, then people expect. So we can stay in the background, collect all the money, and just do us from an academic standpoint. But NIL forced everybody to either ante up and step up to the plate, or we're forgetting about you. And Vandy being a part of the SEC, which I think was a good thing for Vandy, because I think had they been in any other conference, I think they would have looked at athletics, even in this landscape, a little bit different. Say if they were in a non-power 5 or power 4 conference, if they were in some other conference, they would have looked at sports a little bit different. Because you're in the SEC, it forces you to have a sort of a level of competition when you go out there. You need to be competitive. And for so long, Vandy was not competitive.
Right, and that's where I think Chancellor Diermeyer said, if we're going to try to be the best university, we want to be the best in sports as well. And that's the mindset that has helped giving them the backing. But I will say this, Adam, traditionally, and this will be the next test, now that they've had, they're hoping to have unprecedented success in football. That's what they're shooting for. They're hoping to have excellence in these other sports. They've just made a major investment, and now they're in the NIL game. In the past, when they have decided to do something big in athletics, even with the rare times that they had, they've been behind.
When.
Well, they've done it in little bursts, but then when they do it, there's kind of like, wow, we just did all this stuff for athletics. Don't have to worry about that for the next couple of years. And the coaches are like, wait a minute, we're just getting started here. We got us this, now we need this. That's the next test, is it's got to be sustained year in and year out. It can't just be a once every 5 or 10 or 15 year surge. It's a repeated investment. There's still plenty. If you ask the coaching staff over at the football, they still would like to get several other things, right? In addition to continuing to be competitive with NIL, there's always something that needs to be upgraded.
Sports is the front door to every university. In particular, football, when it comes to the SEC and the Big Ten, that is the front door or the lawn of every university. These kids are looking at universities, a lot of them now. How is the football team? How is the basketball team? So if you got a good football team, the uptick of admissions or filling out applications go up tremendously when you have a winning program. And Vanderbilt, they're starting to understand that from this standpoint. No longer can you just be excellent in academics. If you're a part of the SEC, you also got to be excellent in athletics. There's nothing wrong with that.
There were a ton of stories written last year, although Colorado was in the Big 12. You mentioned the Big 10 and the SEC. There were a ton of stories written last year about the spike in applications to Colorado because of Deion Sanders. And Vanderbilt has some of the most rigorous academic qualities of any university in the country. It's incredibly difficult to get into Vanderbilt. But football is one way to get people interested. I'll tell you a similar story, which will be funny as I tell it. At least I think it's funny. When I was applying to colleges, George Mason University wasn't the college I wanted to go to. I thought of it as a safety school, but I wanted to be in the Washington, D.C. area, which is where I ultimately ended up going to college. That was the year George Mason made his run to the Final Four. And I was just like, am I not going to get into George Mason now? Because all of these people are going to apply to George Mason who had never heard of George Mason until they beat UConn and went to the Final Four. And I did get into George Mason. I didn't go. But I hear your point.
They got to the Final Four and you still blew them off? I can't believe it.
I mean, American University came calling. They have been nowhere near the Final Four.
They came with that NIL money.
Yes.
But that is true. I think we can all remember that game, right?
Yes.
When that did wonders for that school.
Yes. Some quick notes about this matchup. From CBS Sports, Diego Pavia is 0-2 versus Missouri in his career. He lost to Missouri when he was with New Mexico State. Missouri is the only opponent Pavia has started 2+ games against without a win in his career. And I can almost guarantee you Diego Pavia knows that. Like, Diego Pavia always needs something to motivate him. There will be no shortage of motivation in this game, but I absolutely know that Diego Pavia knows that Missouri is the only team he's played more than once that he hasn't beaten.
Well, remember last year's game at Missouri? It was, I'm trying to remember when it was. Was it right after they lost to Georgia State?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
And they were a double-digit dog in that game, and they took them to double overtime and had a chance with the ball to win had they scored a touchdown. They ended up kicking a field goal, goes to double overtime. No, I remember what happened. They scored a touchdown in the first possession of the first overtime.
Luther Burden, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, Burden then caught a pass on their first play. Like, if they shut them down, they win the game. So they were very close to upsetting a pretty good Missouri team last year there. And I'm sure that's in the back of their mind.
615-737-1025. We will continue to take your thoughts on Vanderbilt's matchup against Missouri tomorrow afternoon. We will also unveil our winner of the pair of tickets to see the game when we come back. We'll wrap up the week with Take It to the Bank. D-Mace, Finken, and Donick is presented by Bax Homeworks. Remodeling done right. Get a free estimate at baxhomeworks.com.
Happy Vanderbilt Friday. That's what I'm going to call it. This is Derek Mason, and you heard me tell you about Dr. Lodge and his staff over at Cool Springs MD for some time. If you set out to lose weight, chances are it's not your first time setting a goal to shed some extra pounds, only to face disappointment. But I got some news, and it's good because at Cool Springs MD, Dr. Lodge and his team understands the frustration of this cycle, and that is why they offer a different approach to weight loss. Their comprehensive weight loss program is led by Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and addresses the root cause of weight gain with tailored nutrition, exercise, blood test supplements, and more. They will customize a program specific to you and you only. So connect with Dr. Lodge at CoolSpringsMD.com today to schedule your appointment for a personalized weight loss plan just for you. That's Cool Springs MD, where your weight loss journey becomes a success story.
D. Mace, Vingan, and Donick, 102.5 The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. We are at Party Foul 2031 Broadway. We will unveil the winner of the tickets to the game tomorrow momentarily. Willie Donick will be doing those honors. But before we get to that, let's take it to the bank with our friends at F&M Bank, banking made easy on purpose. Visit one of their locations throughout Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky or online at myfmbank.com. David Janes, let's recap last week.
Recap
last week,
last
week,
was
this
a
week.
crap show, so we
You know what I
recapped
mean.
it. So for our two common questions, the first one was over under 55.5 yards for Tony Pollard. Me, Adam, and D-May said over.
It wasn't even close.
It was not. It was like I think he had 18. It was bad. And then for the second one, it was will Vrabel get true acknowledgement? He did not. Adam, you're the only one that got that right. So you got a point there.
Because it was reported beforehand. You guys weren't paying attention.
Well, listen. Amy Adams could have, changed her mind. She's always good at changing her mind. So we never know. We don't know
That
what
is
she's gonna
true.
do.
That is true.
Now, Adam,
all right. How did we do on our individual selections?
All right. So, Adam, you said Drake May would have 3 total touchdowns. I think he only had 2. And then the Vols to cover at Bama at 7.5. No, well, they only scored 7.
That's a funny joke.
They only scored 7. So technically, by technicality, you got a push. So I'm going to give you the points for that because it wasn't over 7. So you got 3 total points for 33.
Huh?
Yes. So it was.
Hold on,
7.5.
David. If I recall correctly, I said that and they lost by 17.
No, they lost by 7.
Yes.
They lost by 17?
It was 37-20.
What game were you watching?
I'm reading something wrong. That was on me. That's on me. Never mind. Let's listen. Hey,
I was about to say,
I'll take the
watch
points.
the same game.
I'll take the points if you're giving them away.
Listen.
No, you're not.
Listen. That's on me.
Oh my
I
goodness!
take full responsibility on that one. That was on me. You get 1 point. You
Well,
get 1
deduct
point.
yourself some points.
You got 31
Fine.
total points.
You're giving it a point for that. Oh,
No.
Well, for free.
Willie,
Okay.
chill. All right.
Just checking.
Now let's go to Willie, Mister. All up on my butt. You said
the complainer of the group.
Yeah, the big time complainer. You said Miami would win by 10.5. They did not. They lost to Louisville.
Wrong.
You said Ohio State
Lost
would
straight up.
cover
What the heck happened?
25.5. And you got that point. So you got 4 total
They
points for
Got that
50. You got 50 points. And then D-Mace.
Very nice.
Derek?
D-Mace, you had 2 touch. You said, gosh, words are hard. You said Diego Pablo would have 2 total touchdowns. He got 3, so you got a point there. And then you said Cam Ward would throw a touchdown. You also got a point right there. So you got 6 points for a total of 28 points. Now,
all right, I'm moving on up.
You're doing well. You're getting there. You're almost close to Adam. Everyone else, you're not really that close to it. But now let's go to me. Memphis over UAB plus 21.5. That did not happen. That was a big bad wrong.
No.
But I did say that Vandy would have combined 3 rushing touchdowns, and I got a total of 5 points for that because Willie said that I could get an extra couple of points if that happened. So I got 5 points off that. Thank you, Willie, for allowing me to get those points for a total of 43 points. I got 43 total points. Now we're going to go to whoever has common questions. I don't know who has common questions.
All right. So 2 common questions this week. 1 Vanderbilt related, 1 Titans related. Let's start with Vanderbilt playing Missouri tomorrow just down the street at First Bank Stadium. But it's not about the game. It's about what happens before the game. It's what's happening on College game day. Yes or no? I assume it's a student. Will a Vanderbilt student win Pat McAfee's kicking competition on College game day?
Can I
Yes or no?
Can we make a caveat? He's got to make the first
That's
kick,
what I was about to say.
It has to be the first try. On the first try. No second chance kick. On the first try, will a Vanderbilt student kick a field goal successfully in Pat McAfee's kicking competition on College Game Day? Yes or no?
Dang, I wonder what the odds are of a kicker.
It's
of
a
student
total
making.
wild card.
I know. I want to say
Remember,
yes.
they were practicing.
I know. I want to say yes because I'm riding the Vandy train, but I need points too. I need points.
So you're going to say no.
It's a lot of pressure.
I'm going. Yes. Yes.
So Derek says yes. Willie?
I have to.
I get to guess. I have faith.
Vandy, don't go against your.
I have faith in the instructors that went out onto the lawn
But
and ran the clinic. So I feel like Vanderbilt students absorb a lot of, they're teachable, they're
Okay.
coachable. And I
But-
saw some of the film of them kicking. They looked like they were somewhat coordinated.
Mhm.
And it's 33 yards.
Yeah.
It's not 40 or 50. So I'm going to say, yeah,
Oh.
they're going to rise to the occasion.
Okay. Because I need points too, I'm going to say
opposite.
no.
You're going opposite.
I'm going to say no.
You love
David,
chaos.
I
You
do.
hope a guy hooks it right into the gallery.
I believe in these
It's
students.
Willie Donick square on the head.
That actually be hilarious. I believe in the
Oh,
students.
man.
Brock Taylor said that some of these kids might take his job, so I'm going to go with the Vandy students. We'll make a kick.
Okay, so 3 say yes and 1 says no. The second common question. The Tennessee Titans, 14.5-point underdogs on the road at Indianapolis this Sunday afternoon. Will the Indianapolis Colts win by at least 20 points? Yes or no?
No.
20?
By 20.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, dude, it's,
Okay.
I mean,
Yes.
20.
yes, I
Come
got to
on.
go
Yes.
This is some garbage time or something.
Yes.
This-
Dang. 20 points.
20 points.
This team's
You
not
like
good,
the
man.
bookmakers are saying they are horrible. You're saying they're below not good. They're horrible.
David, what do you think?
I don't believe in this Tennessee team, man. Give me the 20.
Okay.
Man, that's a lot of points.
2 and 2. Have you seen the
Yes,
state
I
of the
have.
Tennessee Titans?
I have, man.
Okay. Time for the individual portion of the show, the competition. I will begin. Give me an Eli Stowers anytime touchdown against Missouri on Saturday afternoon. And on Sunday afternoon, Jonathan Taylor will have at least 100 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
100-yard rushing is nothing.
He hasn't hit 100 yards in every game. I
Look
said
who he's
100
playing
yards.
against.
I said 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Look who he's playing against. He averages
But
200
Derek,
yards
if he
versus
has
the Titans.
125 yards and 1 touchdown, it doesn't count. I'm saying he has to have 100 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns.
So if he don't have the 2 touchdowns, none of it
No,
counts.
he has to have
Okay,
100
okay.
yards and
All
2
right.
touchdowns.
That's
Okay.
bold.
Going,
That is bold. I
going
can
with
get
the
that one.
degree of difficulty
I
here.
Yes,
can
I
get
like
that one. I
Okay.
can get behind that.
Derek, go ahead.
Okay. Diego will contribute to 3 touchdowns tomorrow.
Okay.
3. I up Danny. I went from 2 to 3. And I think Alabama will cover. What is it? 13, 14 points? I think Alabama will
I'll
beat them
take
by
a
more
look.
times than that. By more points than that. I think it's 14.
Alabama is an 11.5
What
point
was it, 11?
favorite at South Carolina.
It said 13 and a half here.
Oh, I'm
on
looking at
ESPN.
I see 11 and a half.
I see 11.5.
We'll go with the 11 and a half.
So
But they will cover.
Alabama will cover the
Yes.
11.5 at South Carolina. Willie?
All right, I'm going to say Nashville native Mookie Betts on base at least twice tonight. And I will say it doesn't count if he reaches on like a fielder's choice. He's got to get on base by hit or walk.
Okay.
And I'll even say not by error.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay.
hit or walk. He's got to get on. But he'll be on base twice tonight in game 1 of the World Series up in Toronto, where it's going to be buzzing.
Yes.
Elliott Friedman, etc. We had a lot of buzz for that World Series starting tonight. And I am going to say I like Ole Miss to bounce back and win at Oklahoma. So I like them to win, but I'm going to just play it safe and say plus the 5.5. 5.5 Missouri. Ole Miss plus 5.5 at Oklahoma. I like their quarterback. That kid is showing me a lot. Another great example.
That's a safe bet, Willie. That's your safe bet.
Well, it's the
Yeah, but
It's the line. I'm just taking the line.
Yeah, you're taking the point, John.
There's a degree of
I have the
difficulty.
lead.
There's
I'm
a
playing with
degree
the
of
lead.
difficulty.
I'm playing with the lead.
What is
I
the
took
degree of
underdog.
difficulty in that?
Not as much as Jonathan
None.
Taylor, 2 touchdowns and 100
Exactly.
yards.
It's not.
There's no degree of difficulty.
But
So
see,
you
I
would just get 1 point.
I can play. I just need to
Yeah,
pad
you're
my
playing
lead.
it safe.
I'm playing it
And
safe.
just to specify,
Yes.
David, just to specify, 2 rushing touchdowns. Two
Okay,
rushing
okay.
touchdowns
All
plus
right.
100
Oh, that
rushing yards.
is. So,
Very
okay.
specific.
Yes.
So it doesn't even count if he catches one in the
No,
middle?
I want
degree of
2
difficulty.
rushing touchdowns.
He's gonna change his
looking for
mind
some
once
big points
once
here.
next
I'm
week
looking
comes.
for-
Major points.
So you might as well come to the studio Monday in Colts gear. They got to win by 20, and Jonathan Taylor's got to have this huge game.
2 touchdowns
It
running.
shows you
Yeah.
how little faith I have. Did you see Jonathan Taylor at the end of the previous Colts-Titans game
Yeah.
carving up that defense?
He ran through like 5 guys.
Right. And Jeffrey Simmons ain't going to be out there this time.
Like a hot knife through butter.
So, David, your choices.
All right, so last week I talked about Memphis. They disappointed me, but they're coming back again strong this week against South Florida. I believe in my Memphis Tigers. I think they're going to get the win. It's the spread is USF -6.5. Give me 6.5 to cover. Let me get the Tigers to cover, and then also the LSU Texas A&M game. It's a really good game, big rivalry game. Give me the Tigers in Death Valley to get the dub.
Okay.
Does
Okay.
Memphis have their quarterback? Is he healthy, or they're still going with their backup quarterback?
I don't know that one, but
I don't know.
I'm still going to go right with the Tigers.
Okay, I was just asking. Maybe you knew something. Maybe you had some inside.
I mean, I might. You know, listen.
Maybe you got a phone
Memphis-
call or
Sensitive
something.
subject.
Memphis-
Yeah,
Memphis
sensitive
phone call
subject.
every once in a while
Yes.
from other Memphians. You know, we'll see. You never know.
Yeah. For my Memphis peeps.
Willie,
Memphis
you have the
homies.
name of our
I do.
winner
I
of the
have been-
tickets.
Our buddy Cliff McCardle from our promotion staff has drawn the winner. He's passed it along to me. The winner of the tickets tomorrow, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Brian Voss. of Nashville.
Brian Voss.
Of Brian Voss of
Brian-
Nashville.
Yes.
Congratulations, Brian. We will be in touch with you for those tickets. Congratulations. Enjoy the game tomorrow.
It's going to be a hell of a game.
I can't wait to watch College Game Day. The one thing I'm hoping for
I
is
just want to see Willie. That's all
I want
wanna
to see Willie, and we will get a full report from Willie on his College Game Day experience on Monday when we will be at the Mint Gaming Hall in Franklin, Kentucky. But I need somebody to rub Nick Saban's nose in it tomorrow because Nick Saban has been the biggest Vanderbilt skeptic. It happened last season. It even happened last week. He was the only one on the panel who picked LSU to beat Vanderbilt. And even Pat McAfee said, do you ever pick Vandy? And he said, I can't get past the way that I perceived Vandy when I was coaching Alabama. So I want somebody to stick Saban's nose in it tomorrow. I'm sure McAfee has something planned, but the students as well. Y'all need to have something planned to rub his face in it a little bit.
Hey, listen, y'all need to be down there.
You have a
Every
challenge for
Vanderbilt-
somebody.
Every
You have a challenge.
Vanderbilt fan, student, alumni. If Willie gonna be there, y'all need to be there. Bring them all. 8 to 80. Bring them all. All Vanderbilt fans should be at game day and then segue themselves over to that beautiful new stadium that they're renovating. Those seats should be full of Vanderbilt students, alumni. Again, 8 to 80. Matter of fact, you can go as low as a month old. If they can come to the game, bring them to the game. They're going to need it. It's going to be an exciting game, exciting atmosphere out over at West End. So come on out and enjoy. You've been listening to the show. Be love on your people. Have a safe, blessed, wonderful day, weekend. I love you. The team loves you. You hear the music. Don't forget about us. We will be back Monday from Kentucky to talk about a Vandy. Peace.